I'm a naturally born warrior. I just woke up and I was training. That's all I remember. So my whole life, I've been doing wrestling, karate, judo, jujitsu, freestyle, Greco.
Just something.
Just something. Catch wrestling pretty much since I was 5 to 6 years old. I'm 43 now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's something I've done my entire life. The black belt under Eric Paulson.
Right,
so like catch wrestling. So he's like, oh, you're in your sensei phase now. And I'm like, yeah.
Welcome into the Over 9,000 podcast. We got a little bit of a special episode today. Basically a referee, one of the head referees at the PGF World Jujutsu League. And man, we were talking in the back recently. Obviously, we were talking in the back. And like, there are some crazy components to this thing, all right? So you obviously you're a referee, you know, you're doing your thing, but you were talking about the stalling. So just give me what you told me back there as far as your overview of how you want it to run and the quick pace and the exciting action.
Cool. So like when we talk about jujitsu, right? Like good methodical jujitsu is what? The step by step, inch by inch, like slow process, right? But like, this is an event too for people that are watching on Kick or on YouTube at home that, you know, if you've never watched jujitsu, like sadly you get that stigma of like, oh, I'm just hugging somebody. Or they're just, you know what I mean? So that's what we're trying to avoid. So BMAC, Brandon, the guy that's our commissioner, got some of the best judges in the jiu-jitsu game right now. You know what I mean? There's probably 6 of us. We got 2 new starting tonight. But it's kind of like a correlation of 3 people that run this particular movement with what you don't call it stalling. It's more so inactivity, right? So inactivity is something that we define as like, say, you know, you tried to pass somebody, you got pulled into the guard, and that guard person starts attacking.
Right.
But you're just like defend. You're not making any motion
to pass
or to get back. You're surviving. Right. You're not fighting. You're surviving at that point. So we'll give you about 15 to 20 seconds to kind of like, you know, and I'll
for the viewer, that's a long fucking time. I honestly, 15 to 20 seconds may be too long, in my opinion, a little bit, but I would say that it's fair. Nope. It's fair to the process.
100%. So because you have to remember, like, the process of these guys, these are the top jiu-jitsu guys in the world right now. Like, you have to even be a part of PGF, you have to win a qualifier. And so qualifier, it's a true 2 losses and then you're out. So you could lose a match and then fight 7 matches in a row and still win.
So what's a true loss? Like a submission?
A true loss is submission.
Okay.
Or, you know, because right now what we're doing with draws, either if it's not a submission, it's a draw usually in our group. So like so there's, and everything here is points, right? So they're team points. So like right now we have true, like it's like the NFL of jiu-jitsu. We have the Colorado Wolverines, we have the Las Vegas Kings, we have the Alabama Twisters, and then we have the Philadelphia Phenoms right now. So these 4 teams got a group of like 7 fighters, right? That pretty much what happens throughout this event in a 6-week period, you fight every single fighter from every other team because it's all a weight class. So it's 175 pounds. So you will fight every other person on everyone's roster to get through. And then what happens is at the end, you get the accumulated points, like a kill 6 points and a break, whatever other break is 3 points. Only kill you get are from chokes.
What's a break?
A break is like an arm bar, wrist lock, ankle lock, knee bar, heel hook, shoulder lock, Kimura, you know, anything you want to break down.
But any arm that's going to break.
Any limb that can break or twister or anything like that, or hip lock that you can do, that's a break. But a kill is only a choke. So if you get a choke, you get 6 points. All the rest are 3.
That's interesting.
And then you have like teams. It's a team competition. So the teams accumulate points to see who's the champion of the league at the end of that series. Now, what happens at the end is individuals, you really want to pay attention to your points there because we have a playoff, and the playoff are the top 10 jiu-jitsu fighters that have the highest accumulated points. You put them in a pool, and it's a single elimination to the end. And it's, again, bro.
That's fucking nuts. All right, so let's just slow it down because, it was a lot to handle. So basically, the top 10 point getters, right, athletes, they get to go to the playoffs. And then they all it's just a free for all. Obviously, it's just, you know, you
could fight your own team member.
Of course. And then, is it like does the top points overall have the number 1 seed, and he'll play like the 10 seed.
Yeah, there's like a seed. There's seeding process. There's seeding processes like that. Yeah. And that's the thing that's awesome about it is I've seen like real killers come in here and lose just because they got a bad seed or they got put in a bad position. Right, back to the situation of inactivity, right? Like say you were. Oh yeah.
Oh my God. So let's get back to inactivity. All right. So let's say 15 seconds go by, right? And there's a go ahead.
We'll go. The judge will go, penalty, black or yellow, whatever color band that is doing it, right? So then we'll go shot clock, and you'll actually hear. Yeah. You'll hear the clock ticking on like out loud on the speaker, so they know if they hear that clock, that knock knock, you're still on the clock. So if we get down to 20 seconds, like if it burns 20 seconds to where you didn't do anything to where we thought, like, so roughly when you get it.
All right, so let's back it up. So you get 15 seconds of inactivity, you throw a flag.
Yes, then you got 20 seconds.
Then you get another 20 seconds. So basically, if you get through 35 seconds of not doing shit, I mean, god damn, at this point, you fucking deserve something.
Exactly. So that, and again, like I said, it's not methodical jiu-jitsu. Yeah. It's not made for good jiu-jitsu. It is, but it's not that process of like that step by step. Like, we want a blender. We want you moving, going, full gas pedal the entire time. And then if you don't get something, right? Then we put you, everyone that's familiar with wrestling, it's like a referee's position, but we call it penalty position. Yeah. It's a true, hand straight, locked out, knees bent, locked out, back straight, head up.
Damn, head up.
Like it's like you've watched Game of Thrones. Shame, like you're here, shame, like your butt and head are in the air with a straight back, and then the person behind you does referee's position, leg up, hand on the belly button, arm behind the elbow.
So he doesn't get to lock though.
No. And you start there, and then there's a rule where we say like, and there's false starts. Yeah. So like if you're too and you jump, stand back up. Yeah. It's false start. It's a false start penalty. So you can get set, and you'll actually hear me or Drew or Heath walk up and be like, don't move. Take our hands off. If you move after I take my hands off, one of my refs are going to see that and beep, throw a flag, false start. Okay, back to neutral. And then what? Well, hey, you moved. We told you not to move. Okay. And then you blow the whistle and they go. So this is where I've seen killers like just doing stuff, and they just got stuck in a bad position, and they got called for something, and then the other person gets their back, choke. And you're like...
I'm going to disagree with you. Right here. 35 fucking seconds.
It's a long time.
That's a long fucking
long time.
You deserve it. I wouldn't even say that you got stuck. I would just say that you weren't fucking... 35 seconds, because if you start counting down 35 seconds, it is a long time, and to be able to get 15, right, and then another 20... seconds opportunity to correct that mistake. I mean, I think at that point, it warrants it. I mean, that's very, very fair.
Very fair. And again, this is made so that, this is for the untrained eye of jiu-jitsu. Any jiu-jitsu guy knows, he's trying to get his grip, or he's pulling his elbow, he's trying to hold his wrist, now he's trying to pin. But someone at home, this is made for someone at home to watch. Like, not everybody's into football. Not everybody's played. Right. But when they turn it on, they're like, I know what a pass interference is. I know what holding is. That's what we're trying to create at the PGF. And this is something that is, no one's doing it. You know what I mean? And UFC BJJ just started doing the flag situation. But like, we started this, 8 seasons ago. You know what I mean? This is season 9 that we're on. So this is something that we have worked out meticulously. Like the refs and the judges, after a match, we go have dinner and be like, hey, what match today did we see that we could have done better on? This match in this situation. Okay, so we look at our rule set. We go through the ruling. Okay, so like this applies to that. That applies to this. Right here, we'll be watching it. Right here, we could have done a little bit less, or we could have done a little bit more. But like what we're trying to do is we're trying to cut that 15 seconds down to like 10. 7 to 10 seconds of doing something. Because you get a complaint from a lot of the fighters. This is what we always get is, no, we're not just gonna, put ourselves in a shitty position. Well, that's the way that the game works. We're not just gonna jump into the legs. We're not just gonna try and do something crazy. Well, again, we're not here to do methodical jiu-jitsu. And if you were thinking methodical, maybe you need to do, like you were saying, speed chess. Maybe I need to think speed chess, like move prior to doing it. And if you don't, you have that chance of getting that inactivity thing.
I get it. There's a high level that's super, super methodical. But at the end of the day, I mean, and you're in a real world situation, you're moving. You're moving. You know what I mean? People are moving. I mean, let's just be honest with you. If you're in a real world situation, you can't just stand and guard. Somebody's going to poke you in the eye. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Somebody's going to do something. So you do have to constantly be moving.
And it's the most, what I've learned is, I referee a lot of different groups, like King of Subs. I referee Subversive with Combat Jiu-Jitsu. I ref for MMA under Herb Dean for CSAC and Camel.
Okay.
I do a lot of different things. I'm even in this thing called TCG Combat. So in TCG Combat is armored combat, knights and shields and swords and marshalling.
I saw a little bit of it.
So you stick a pole in the middle, like don't hit me. Like I have steel gauntlets on. Stop. Like I do all of it. Like I am a naturally born warrior. I just woke up and I was training. That's all I remember. So my whole life I've been doing wrestling, karate, judo, jiu-jitsu, freestyle, Greco.
Just something.
Catch wrestling, pretty much since I was 5 to 6 years old. I'm 43 now. You know what I mean? So it's something I've done my entire life. So I'm at a point, my coach teases me, Coach Eric Paulson. I'm a black belt under Eric Paulson. I like catch wrestling. So he's like, oh, you're in your sensei phase now. And I'm like, yeah. Which is also why I started Submission Sensei, the app that I have.
Right.
Because I'm in a sensei phase. Because I've done pretty much everything and anything I can do or want to do in the sport. So I don't have anything to prove, and so now it's my turn to take the younger generation, and that's why we coach, because it's a jiu-jitsu and fighting. It's a passion of mine. Like I don't know myself without it. It's a way of life for me. It's not just a lifestyle. So I'm trying to teach my students now, like, this is how it has to be a part of your daily life. And if you're not doing something with it on a daily life, then you're just a hobbyist at that point.
Right.
You know what I mean? But when you do something daily to get better for whatever art it is that you're doing, that's when it becomes a way of life. Bushido, right? Like Bushido. Right. So it's a way of life. You wake up and that's what you do. So that's me. I wake up, that's what I do. Like when you were talking earlier, like I drove 4.5 hours. What did I do? I went straight to the gym because I know I'm going to be reffing all day. Because it's a priority. You have to make it a priority.
No, and that I always say that too, when people talk about, what are your fitness tips, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, listen, at the end of the day, this has to be the way that your life goes. You're changing your life. So, you know what I mean? Like, you don't got to go like every day, but every day has to be a diet thing. You get one, maybe you get a cheat day. That's cool, but back on your diet. It's like you're reformulating your entire life. And that's really what it takes to see results on a consistent basis and to take a full, just a 360 on your life. Because, so many times you see people, they might go out and get a breakup, right? And then boom, 3 months, I'm on it. You know what I mean? They come out, they finally hit their goal weight. They finally look the way they want to. 3 months later, they're back looking like shit. So it's literally a way of life, and that's awesome that you said that.
Yeah, it's discipline.
It really is.
It's discipline. Like you have to not to kick that horse, but you do have to have, you have to have discipline for yourself, and that is meaning that I need to get up, like you said, I need to eat right today. Can't make it to the gym. Okay, so I need to eat right, check my calories, do whatever I need to do to keep it on consistency. You know what I mean? And you have to do something daily to become at least 1% better. No, that's my theory.
I definitely understand that. And like, so everybody out there, if you guys really want to get into the workout and fitness and stuff, you got to really, before you get into it, you got to change your mentality to, oh, I got to do this. Oh, I have to do this. But you got to change your mentality into like, this is the way that my new life is. This is a priority. Like, I have to get to the gym and do my shit. Then I can go about my day. But you got to change the mentality of, I have to work out to like, this is what I do.
This is what I do.
This is just what I do. It's not I have to go do this shit. It's what I do.
100%. Yeah. I 100% agree on that, dude.
Yeah.
And that's like where I said, like, when we come back to the PGF, these guys, they do something every day, bro.
Oh, I bet.
Every single day. So it's like, we used to have it. We're now doing it week by week. Originally, we were doing this whole setup in 1 week. They would fight 3 full matches in 5 days. 15 matches of the top jiu-jitsu fighters in your weight class of the world in 5 days period, and then do a playoff on the 6th day.
Damn.
Like, it was like, even me, I was like, dude, this is like, I would watch and I was like, I've done some hardcore shit, but like, this is a meat grinder, bro. And if you didn't prepare, like, we're gonna find out who's lamb and who's wolf, real quick. And not that they're not wolves, but you're gonna find out who's made
really
for this.
Who's really putting in the work?
Yeah.
Because, listen, if you ever really want to get in shape, I mean, fucking go start doing jiu-jitsu. Go wrestle 100%. And do jiu-jitsu. This is a different type of cardio. There's boxing cardio, there's running cardio, but then there's grappling cardio.
100%.
And it's just different. It's like your whole body is engaged at the whole time. Like, because I do a lot of wrestling, you know what I mean? And so there's so many legs and hips and arms, and I'm holding this while I'm keeping you with my hip, and then I got my fucking neck and my ear on you, you know what I mean? And I'm literally using my whole body to pin you down, and that's why I got the cauliflower ears, you know what I mean? Because I'm literally using my head to pin you down to the mat, or I'm pinning you up against the cage so I can get you in a position. So it's literally your entire body all the time working. And yeah, there's nothing like grappling.
And that's what I always tell people, is because my biggest thing is, like, with my gym, right, they come in, oh man, I got to get in shape. No, jiu-jitsu will get you in shape.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu will get you in shape, because you can walk on your treadmill all you want. But
yeah,
like,
that's not gonna do.
You're not doing shit. You're doing something to sweat, to lose some fat or whatever, just to pull some water out of your body. But like you said, the thing about grappling is you're learning how to get the stamina of a sprinter, the endurance of a long distance runner, and the flexibility and of one of the floor mats. What are they called? Like a gymnast. It's like the flexibility of a gymnast and the power of a strength of a power lifter. Yeah. You're doing 5 different exercises in one complex movement, like you were saying.
Right.
There's movements where I have to use my hand, my shoulder, my hip, my lat, my leg, and then use my head to catch my weight so that I can pin you the opposite. It's just
it's just a constant thing. And that's why I always tell people, because a lot of kids and everybody that are into this fitness culture, and I'm like, these motherfuckers aren't really strong. Like, there's a difference between strong and strength.
Yeah.
And like, they can be strong, you know what I mean? Like, you can bench 450 like Bradley Martin or any of those guys, but man, you get a motherfucker put that strength on you, all of a sudden you feel like a baby. In fact, those muscles after about 20 seconds, 10 seconds literally are like liabilities. You know what I mean?
Dude, I've had one of my jiu-jitsu partners at CSW in Fullerton, Eric Paulson's. His name's Cody. He is a like 3rd generation rodeo clown. Okay. So like, he does bull riding and all that. You want to talk about strength? Dude, he's grabbed my gi before, and it's like, like throwing my whole body into it. And I'm like, I'm not moving this cat. Like, I'm strong too. I have strength, but like, it's like the tensile. It's like
the density.
It's like the gauntlet of Thanos, dude. It's just like, once they grab you, it's like, it's over. Like, you know what I mean? Like, game, I
always say there's like a denseness. Like, guys that lift weights and stuff, I mean, that's great. You guys look great, awesome. But it's like you're puffed up. You're puffed up, and like, but there's like a density in the muscle of strength, real strength. And like, I could boom, put you like this, underhook, bam, and I'm, you just don't have that strength, and I'm just moving you like nothing, and you're 275 pounds. I'm just like, okay. Nope. And the same thing with a lot of times we see with the arm wrestling, a guy that's just a little bit in shape, it's there, but the density, because this is all he does, he's murders like, this big ass dude. So there's just a lot of difference between being strong and strength.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And grappling will give you that strength. You'll it'll be applicable to a life or death situation.
Oh, 100%. Because like, when you talk about life and death situation, like I loved how you used chest earlier when we were talking in the back, right? Like that chest event you were talking about. With jiu-jitsu is chess for the body, like chess is jiu-jitsu for the mind. That's the way I say it. It's an aspect of like planning what you're doing 2 to 3 moves ahead, because if I do this, he's going to do this, this, and this. And that's why I love reffing. I love reffing because for me, I do surgery in my real life. I'm a surgical oncologist, FA. So like, I'm always studying. So for jiu-jitsu to sit and watch like Subversive, PGF, King of Subs, I'm watching the top guys go full speed, full savagery, full attitude.
Yeah.
So like, when my students are, playing half-assed, that shit'll never work, bro.
Yeah.
Why? Oh, because I saw so-and-so do it this way, or so-and-so do it that way.
Right.
And when they did that, they missed it. But when they did this, they hit 2 people with those locks. So you have to do it this way. There's no gray area. It's either this way or not. Because if you don't, you're not going to get it.
And so you teach all this in the app that you got, right?
Yeah,
so tell us about the app.
So Submission Sensei is an AI technology app, meaning that say we've all had that day, right? Where I, even as a second degree black belt, I still have my coach whoop my ass.
Right.
Where I'm like, I go home and I'm like, how'd I get stuck there? How did that happen? How the hell do I get out of that? Well, Submission Sensei is a app that it's for that. It's for that student that's like, hey, Sensei, how I got stuck here. How do I get out of it? And then the AI it'll pull up whatever that question is. It'll give you positions, how to get out of it, me or another person dialoguing how it would work, and then an example in combat of it being used. So you can see 3 different definitions. Someone explaining it to you, someone showing it, and then you seeing it being executed. That way, so there's not a question of, if that would really work. Oh, it's right there. That's...
I actually got a funny story that you say this, but back in the day, I used to fight professionally. I used to fight at Vanderleest. We had a kid come over. I wouldn't say a kid, but he was my homie, Mike Nesto. And he was a former, just really good wrestler, right? This motherfucker went on YouTube and taught himself jujitsu. And he was fucking everyone up. Like, bro, when he first got there, bro, he was subbing everybody, all the brown belts. Probably wasn't subbing the black belts, but he was giving them a good run for the money just because his wrestling base was so good that he was able to kind of fast track. But he was a fucking nerd. He absorbed everything he could off of YouTube. It wasn't like some jank. He wasn't like some jank motherfucker that I just studied off of YouTube. No, he was a legit wrestler. And then he, had a buddy in the garage and he'd look it up. Okay, how do I get out of that? How do I do this? How do I do that? And he did this all based on YouTube. Yep. You know what I mean? So just to have an app like that with an AI, so does it bring up videos of situations?
Yes.
So it does.
So it does. So like I said, if you say, how do I do an armbar? How do I do an armbar? Right? It'll pop up the armbar videos, whatever. So it's dialogue off of. We have about 5 or 6 collaborators right now. So there's going to be 5 or 6 definition or different ways to do the move. So most people go, oh yeah, I already know an armbar. Well, no, we're showing you 5 different ways to do that armbar because your body's not like my body. Long guy's body's not like my body.
True.
You got to get different dynamics of how your body moves, the length, your depth, how much you have to bite. I mean, any grappler understands that. And what it does is it really gives you that you shouldn't have any more questions after you've asked that question. And if you do, then AI has been modeled to, okay, well, I got out of that, but what if I fall into this?
Right.
I got out of the armbar, but then he transferred to a shoulder lock. Okay, so then it would transfer to how to get out of an omoplata shoulder lock. You know what I mean? So it's, again, AI is a trip because as long as you've programmed it and we have the appropriate dialogue, technique, and study placed into it with the videos, it just does its own thing and it gives you this pure script, like a script on how to get and do the actual move or to get out of it or whatever. So it's no longer where I'm sitting at home like those memes where it's like, what's he thinking about? How did I get stuck in the fucking armbar? No, you can ask it, how did I get stuck in that fucking armbar? You know what I mean? And it'll show you.
It sounds like the next evolution of it is just to put that cord in the back like Neo and just...
I know jujitsu.
I know jujitsu now.
You know what's funny about that? They actually spelled jujitsu wrong in the Matrix.
No
it's
way.
Look it up. J-U jitsu. It doesn't say J-I-U. I caught that directly when I saw that. I was like, wait. That's jujitsu, not Jiu.
That actually makes sense because that movie was made in the 90s. Jiu-Jitsu was taken over, obviously, with the Gracies and UFC and that whole big thing, that big movement. But it was still in its crazy early phases when the movie came out.
What I love about that is because it's when you talk about early phases, I remember when we were talking about wrestling and your friend, if you're what I've noticed with the difference between wrestlers and jiu-jitsu guys, right? There's a different intensity. There's a different pace. Wrestling's a different intensity and pace, right? It's like a wave crashing versus a wave flowing to crash. You know what I mean? It's different.
Yeah.
So it's still crash course stuff, But a wrestler will take his head, run through your body, and not care if he busts up his nose or his face.
Yeah, exactly.
Jiu-jitsu guys will tuck or whatever, then we get our ears all jacked up, right? So like that's one of those things that like it's the different style, but when you can find out how to mix both of them, dude, it's
I know. Trust me,
it's amazing. And I've been around, like how you were saying, like I've watched this sport go from when my dad was a cop. So like he would know someone that was doing something at the YMCA, Boys and Girls Club. And we would go and then he would show us like 2 moves, 3 moves maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, but I got these videotapes. And then you buy all the videotapes because you don't know what the hell's on those. And I'm learning the techniques, so I don't know what they are.
Yeah, true.
And back then it was just a camera on a tripod videoing whatever the hell they were doing. So you bought those tapes and then you were at home going, pause. Wait, pause, roll, rewind, fast forward, pause. Like doing this. That's how I was learning. So nowadays, like you were saying, your friend learned it from YouTube. Kids nowadays can type it up and, you'll have 1,000 videos that pop up, right? Well, the difference between that and the submission AI is like you're asking it a specific question, not just how do I do an armbar? How do I do an armbar from this position? How do I get it out of an armbar from this position? And we will have litany of whatever it is that you're looking for, asking it to get you out of that position, to give you a script step by step by step, how to get out of it. Okay, I got out of it. Now I got to this. Okay. Then you go here. Then you go here. Then you go here.
Nice.
Okay, this happened. Okay. Then you go here. Then you go here. Then you go here. So it's like, it's a mobile sensei. It's literally like a sensei that's driving with you in the car on your phone that you can ask any question about jiu-jitsu and it will
Right, it's tailored for jiu-jitsu.
Yes, tailored just for when we're working on like a sensei judo, a sensei wrestling. We're gonna slowly integrate all that stuff in, but jiu-jitsu right now is our main focus with it because we want to get that off the ground first, and then start adding all that other stuff.
That's sick. That's sick.
And that's again, martial arts is what it's an expression of somebody's style, whatever that style might be.
So I just go on my phone. I look up and I go to the app store and I just go submission Sensei.
Okay. Sensei AI, and it's Sense AI. So it's not Sensei, it's Sense AI. So it's a little play on the name of Sensei, but we are using AI, so we throw that AI on the
Sense
back.
Sense AI.
Yeah, Sense AI. So it's again, there's not really anything out there like it right now. And I saw an opportunity, me and Sid saw an opportunity to jump on this, and Sid's our technology guy. He runs everything on the algorithms and all that stuff. Like he does everything like that.
That's sick.
You got to find someone that you can work with that you can trust, like a family, right? Like,
right.
My big thing is like loyalty is royalty, right? So like that is like something I live by. Like I don't ever sell out. I buy into things. You know what I mean? That I buy into it because I'm going to put my heart and soul into it. Like for instance, like right now, like we're not just spending time together. We're spending life together, right?
That's true.
Because you can never get life back. Time is life and life is time.
That's true.
And I've learned that with the oncology stuff that I do. I've learned that life is very precious. So like, again, with your stuff, like I've never had a company that I've ever wanted to be like, I want to wear this. You know what I mean? Like brand new, like the brand new, I had to get it. I had to get it. You know what I mean? Because again, I'm about the way of life, the lifestyle. Like this is something I could live my life in. So I want to live my life in it. And that's like being here with you, spending the life with you. Like you're someone I bought into your to your dream, to your art, to your, this isn't just something that, you just, let me just throw this on there. No, like this is art that's brought into like manifestation on a shirt. And it's stuff that is nostalgic for some people that, a comic book could have been that one time in your life that you had a bad time, but it takes you back to, oh man, I remember when I saw that I was doing this, or a great time you just got done partying with your friends and you popped on a manga or an anime and you were like, this is fucking, I had that shirt. I remember that was doing this with, what I mean? Like that's what your art does for me. It brings me back to not that my life's bad. I love my life. I have a beautiful life, but it takes me back to times where I was like, dude, I was having a badass time during that shit. Dude, Dragon Ball Z, oh my God, what was I doing? I was in college. I was doing this, like, you know what I mean? Like, and I was watching some of that stuff, Toonami, back in the day.
Of course,
you know what I mean?
Of course, Toonami.
The old school Cartoon Network, bro. Like, it was, again, what you do isn't just, it's people's dreams being put onto canvas and then putting onto a shirt. Like it's people's dreams
No, that's exactly true. Because, when I kind of put together the brand and stuff, I was just like, man, like I got to do stuff that we as fans want that the corporations won't do. Cause they're going to give you a nice token pose and that's it. But you got to put together all just man, the great parts of that series and that show, and put it together to where it's like cool to wear, where somebody's gonna see it and it's not just a Goku shirt. It's like, damn, what the fuck?
Is
like,
that?
yo, because you know, like you're like, you know, you have people that not even social be like, hey, I don't know who that motherfucker is, but he has to be cool. I mean, it has to be cool. He literally has his fucking...
Dude, look at his shirt.
That shit's sick as fuck. Hey, where'd you get that shirt from? And so when I always say, like, you know, it's supposed to connect like minds, supposed to, you know, break necks and engage people, you know, that's what it's for. It's, you know, it is like I always say, man, you might meet your wife, you might meet your next boss, because somebody could be somebody like yourself. You're just like, damn, that shit's tight. And it could be a young kid that's looking for like a job in an office or whatever it is. You know what I mean? It'd be like, hey, oh yeah, you know, blah, blah. Start the conversation, you know, never know where it goes. But at least you know that motherfucker's cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm
It'd
telling
be like,
you.
hey, I don't know who you are, but you're fucking dope. That shirt is sick.
Dude, all I'm going to say is if I could put your shirt in a quote, dude, a vintage Rush shirt is for funerals or fucking, it doesn't matter what it is. Like those are, it goes for all occasions, you know?
Right.
And just the few that I've worn around my city and, you know, in Orange County, dude, people are, what is that? And I'm like, yeah, it's Vintage Rush. Check them out. They got a website. Yeah. They got an Instagram too. Check them out, follow them up, do whatever.
I appreciate
you know,
that.
and because it's like, you know, when you see people's reactions, they're like, whoa. And I'm like, dude, like,
and you never know who you're going to meet. You never know who you're going to meet.
100%.
You never know who you're going to meet. It could be, like I said, it could be your future boss, could be your wife, could be your next best friend. You just never know. You guys might just hit it off. It just starts a conversation.
100%, dude.
You know what I mean?
And you've got whatever you're doing, man. I'm proud of you. I love what you're doing, and you really are you are altering the space. You definitely are altering the space.
I'm trying to, you know, connect like minds, and then also kind of give fighters and people that like get them a little bit of style, you know what I mean? Like I hate how you wear like a regular anime shirt and you're kind of like a nerd, you know what I mean? But when you wear my stuff like that, you'd be like, damn, that shit's hard. And I've had like French Montana, I've even had Drake Stylist reach out. I had a bunch of guys from RDC they're big in like the YouTube space, and you know, different artists like David Cho, and even like the X-Men 97 creator, and even the guys that did the first X-Men the animated show, you know, they've all somehow gotten some vintage Rush stuff and been like, hey motherfucker, like I need some more.
Some more, 100%.
I'd be like, I just try to make, and I had like Waka Flocka wear a Sailor Moon Wish You Were Here shirt at his show during the Super Bowl. I think when the Super Bowl was in Vegas, I had like 4 pieces in the Super Bowl. And I was like, what the fuck? Like,
that's awesome.
You know, like I'm just like, damn, you know, these motherfuckers really went through their wardrobe and were like,
that's the one I'm going to wear.
I think I'm going to wear the vintage Rush tee today. I was like, damn, that was tight.
Yours are, your stuff, true. Some of them are truly collector items, truly collector items. Because you don't make them again.
None of them are ever reproduced again.
See, and that's what I don't like. That's what people don't get. Like, I collected comics. I collect Magic cards. I collect Pokemon cards. Like, most stuff for my kids now for Pokemon. Pokemon's big. It was crazy how it came back, right? Like, I remember buying like the original ones, and I still actually have like a folder of like the original ones that I bought in like 8th, 9th grade, right?
Nice.
And they're just there. I don't need to move them. And my son's like, oh, don't touch them. I don't know what's in there. I'm very lazy about getting things graded. I haven't got anything graded, but they've literally been, I don't want to pull it out of the sleeve and it be stuck because it was in there for so long and then it tears it or some shit. So again, I just leave it vaulted in a thing, and you could go through them and you know whatever you're gonna look at and stuff like that. But you know, that's the thing is like back in the day, like you were like a nerd if you were into that kind of shit, right?
But like that's true.
And I'm just a tough ass nerd, bro. I'm a 2nd degree black belt that does surgery that loves anime and comics and fantasy and all that. I love it. I don't care. Like it like, and honestly, I don't care what people think. It don't matter to me.
It doesn't matter. I mean,
so I represent it like Dragon Ball, freaking all day. I will fight people over Dragon Ball, like that kind of shit.
I tell people all the time. I'll be like, yo, like, Yeah, I was watching sci-fi anime Saturday back in the day, and I was like, yo, whatever this anime shit is, it's just hard. And then Pokemon came out and kind of ruined my reputation. I had a little clip about it. But Dragon Ball Z came out, and they were like, this motherfucker's a prophet. He knew what he was talking about. But that was before we even knew what different genres of anime were.
Yeah.
We didn't know. Like, they put it all in one.
See, my shit when I grew up with, because of my cousin, was like Trigun. And
exactly.
Cowboy Bebop. Yep. Like Trigun was like red coat. Yeah. Like that was just like, I was like, dude, that guy's bad as fuck. Yeah. Like I remember that specifically, be like, what are we watching?
Yeah.
Oh, this is Trigun. You're going to watch this. Akira, the original tape, the original videotape Akira. And I'm like, what is this? Yeah. And then, freaking motorcycle, this whole thing. And I'm like, dude. And, being a kid, I'm like, how do I process what's happening right now? You know what I mean? But it was because I was so used to like, I hadn't been exposed to like extreme anime like that. Where it was really like, whoa, dude, like this is some gnarly shit. And growing up with it, I just kind of fell into line with whatever was coming down the pipe.
Right.
And what I was used to with, I used to watch when I was a kid. My dad would do the adults class after we did the kids class of like karate or judo, right? But our coach, because he was Japanese, all the kids would go into the room and he had like Japanese dubbed Dragon Ball.
Get the fuck out of here.
No, so I would be like, my dad's like, why is he watching cartoons? He's like, your son need to learn how to read, right? Yeah, well, he's gonna have to read all the English subtitles. Yeah. So I was like locked into Dragon Ball this.
Shout out to him, man.
Dude.
My man said Dragon Ball for all the students while they wait for their parents.
Dude, Professor Toriaga, dude. Professor Toriaga was one of the cool. He passed away, no, God rest him. But he was one of the coolest. Just like, hey, he's like he was like the traditional Japanese like Shinto samurai trying to teach an art that in the late 80s, early 90s, no one had a fucking clue what a gem and pearl that type of technique was.
Right.
And then now I like, and then when UFC came out and I started seeing, I was like, oh shit, that's Saonagi. Oh fuck, that's there's crazy. All kinds of shit that he's doing that I'm like, I know how to do that. Like, oh shit. And my friends are like, oh bullshit, what? Oh fuck, I didn't know you knew that. Yeah, it's fucking judo, bro. Like, it's Kodokan. He was teaching Kodokan judo. So Kodokan judo is a little bit different because Kodokan was like a mix of the jiu-jitsu art with the judo, like samurai style. So Kodokan is like the original like combat judo where it turned into leg locks and hip locks, like that Last Samurai, right? You'll see like where they're fighting the guy and he throws Tom Cruise and then he fucking hip locks him. Yeah, that's Kodokan judo. That's not jiu-jitsu. That's Kodokan judo. So that's what I was learning at like 7 years old. You know what I mean? And 7 to 10 years old, sitting in a freaking room watching original Dragon Ball like this. And so when it came out on Toonami, I was like, oh, I already seen all this shit. Oh, it's in English? Yeah. Oh, fuck. Click. I'm fucking. That's all I'm watching now. Like, because I had never got it in English.
Story.
So that's how far back my anime with Dragon Ball go.
Hold on one second.
Yeah, I was like, again, that's why like I will fight people over Dragon Ball. Yeah. I will slap someone over Dragon Ball. Like, shut the fuck up. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah. Like,
that's how far I go back with it. So like I love anime. I love it. And I don't care. Like I said, if someone's like, "Oh, you're a nerd." Well, I'm a tough ass nerd. I'll tell you that right now.
Not anymore. This shit's in.
Yeah, it's in. It's in.
Not anymore, man. This shit's in.
It's in now, dude. Yeah. And when you can talk about it, that's what's funny. Yeah. When you can talk about it, people go, "Wait, dude? I've been watching this shit since I was 7 years old, bro. You don't know about Ox King and all the original Chi-Chis with a flame and the pink helmet and all that stuff, and Roshi for the first time hitting the Kamehameha against the mountain and shit that's how far it goes back. But again, people that don't watch that, so like during 2020, right? My kids, I made my kids, like not made, but they were interested in it. We watched Dragon Ball all the way to the Tournament of Power. And we were watching that episode by episode. Damn. So because what were we gonna do? Crazy enough, the world shut down.
Right.
We
might as well take advantage of it.
No, and our jiu-jitsu that we were doing, we had a spot that was called Speakeasy Jiu-Jitsu. We made T-shirts and everything, and you had to knock 3 times so they knew it was you. Yeah. Because, dude, there was one time.
Well, you're in California. I mean, it's strict. It was strict.
So one of my friends, Boogeyman and Gio down in San Diego, San the Freaks, right? Mm-hmm. They actually got a ticket for doing jiu-jitsu. No bullshit. ticket for doing jujitsu. I was like, dude, you got to frame that. You have to frame that. You got a ticket for training jujitsu? He went and fought it, and they dismissed it, of course. But you got an actual ticket for doing jujitsu. That's crazy. I was like, if that's not some hardcore rebel shit, I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is.
That's crazy.
And the place that we were at, we had cops that we'd come in our street clothes and we'd change inside there, shower, and then leave in our street clothes. We were not allowed to leave in our combat stuff. You know what I mean? Oh, we're just meeting up. We're talking about business, whatever, that kind of thing. One time, they actually knocked on the door. Like the cops came because the business next door was reporting that we were coming in and training and doing shit like that because we were blaring music. We're fighters. We gotta do it, man. You know what I mean? And we don't want our coaches, stuff to shut down. Right. So we actually were going because it's made like a circle. We were going for like room to room, hiding and shit from these people. So our coach didn't get a freaking ticket, and they only went to like 2 rooms. Oh, okay, you're clear, and we were in the room just like lights off, like fuck, don't come in.
Damn.
And then we were like, oh shit. And then after that, we made shirts, Speakeasy Jiu-Jitsu. I was like, we have to because that's sick. So. Sick. Again, so when someone asks, what did you do in 2020? I kept training.
Yeah.
Fucking legend, fucking gangster. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why would I stop? I've done it my whole life. I'm going to figure out a way to do it. And sadly, during that time, I had a lot of friends that lost their businesses. And so, like, I bought some of their mats and stuff like that. Right. So my garage is like a little MMA gym because it sucks, dude. I remember one of my friends actually, like, we had to clear it out. And he just, like, I was like, hey, man, you ready? And he just sat in the middle of the fucking space, just like, this is my dream, and I've been here for 10 years, and now, like, it's gone. It's just one of those things.
They didn't, like, pause the rent. You know what I mean? They didn't pause the bills, so it was just like, a lot of it got lost because, you know what I mean? Like, fuck.
No, it sucks. It sucked. But, but we're back to full swing with jiu-jitsu in the mainstream, and now it's becoming so mainstream that UFC is starting to do it,
which is crazy.
It's just insane.
I was in the PI the other day. They got the jiu-jitsu. Just you gotta
know someone to get in there, bro. I can't even get in there.
Oh no, my buddy. I train with my buddy Johnny. Oh, okay. Yeah. I usually go up there like 3 or 4 times a week. That's awesome. I train a lot awesome. With all the guys in there, all the personal trainers and all that. So yeah, I mean, definitely blessed because I decided to fight again for content, and I thought it would be cool for the brand, like 4 or 5 months ago, and then like almost immediately, I told some of my friends around town, and they were just like, "Oh, you're doing it again? All right, come to the PI."
That's awesome.
And I was like, all right. I was like, well, I went and trained a little bit first. We got, my shit a little bit, about a month and a half. I got, let me knock off the dust a little bit. But then, I've been in there. And so it's cool, man. You meet a lot of people, a lot of motherfuckers want the shirts. I talk about, it was funny because I'd be talking about, how successful it is. They're like, are you wasting your time? I'm like, well, I mean, I got 3 people in the UFC that wore the shirts after the fights. I've been to the PI in the last week 4 times, maybe 5 times in the last, I was like, so if you think about it, if I'm over here batting 3 out of 5 that somebody, important wants to wear the shirts, I'm like, I mean, it's already pretty successful.
100%.
So I'm like, but no, I mean, I love training. It's something that, I spent 7 years of my life, dedicated to 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours at night. And I think a little bit different, that I have a little bit different, mentality on it, and why I think I can actually do it is that, a lot of my friends are all in the UFC. Cleo Roundtree, my boy Donovan Freelo, Johnny Parsons there. I got somebody else too. He used to actually be the fucking receptionist at or not receptionist, but reception at our Vanderlei's when he started when he was green. But all these guys are all high level, training with them for years. And so I'm like, I don't got the wear and tear you guys do. And I've been active for the last 9 years. You know what I mean? I've always constantly gone to the gym, whether I'm playing basketball, whether I'm doing something, I've been constantly active. So I kept everything top tier. Now I'm like, you know what? let me dust off the wheels. Let me get a couple content fights. Nothing crazy, but we'll see how crazy it gets. Because but whatever. And so yeah, it's been great, man. I got So I'm like, all right. I think I'm in a little unique position because I don't have the wear and tear.
Oh yeah, see, and I've got a lot of wear and tear because I just haven't.
It stacks up.
It stacks up over years, and especially like I said, now that I'm in my sensei phase, that's where I started feeling it. You know what I mean? Because like now I've got these younger cats that are hungry that want to go after, so I gotta beat them up sometimes. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's that thing where you go home, you're like, man, fucking should have just let him sweep me, whatever. But no, fuck that. I'm not gonna let him sweep me. Fuck that fool. No, fuck that fool. Like, no. I had to put my fist in his mouth and let him know, like, this ain't the place, and whatever.
You have to. You have to. And that's what I think a lot of the misconception about fighters are. That you say that is that people think these motherfuckers are mean. They're aggressive. I mean, if you're high level, you're not mean or aggressive because you done got your ass beat so fucking bad before that you kind of like lost your ego a little bit. Of course, I know guys that like I think I trained with Conor McGregor one time at Syndicate. Nicest guy in the world. You know what I mean? Now he gets a mic behind him. This is like his crazy Conor face. Mm-hmm. Then he's a different guy because he has to be. That's how you sell the fight, and that's what makes people put asses in the seat. But, bro, 95% of these guys are the coolest people in the world because they had to go through the. They had to go through the grinder, bro. They went through a guy like you that put a fucking fist in their mouth and fucked them up, and they had to go home and be like,
what happened? My coach hit me.
All right. Well, fuck. I need to train harder to get into a better place where I can finally get through that, where I can finally survive that. Then once you survive that, you're like, okay, I can get through it like without dying. Now, you know what I mean? Now, how could I maybe reverse it? You know what I mean? Yeah. So there's a big level of boom, boom, boom that you have to go through. You have to go into the gym, 20 years old, thinking you're going to out athlete everybody. Then you got to come down and be like, boom. Then there's a point where you're learning these techniques and you learn some shit, but it's almost like you regressed. Because you learn the techniques, but everybody knows the counter to the techniques. Now you got to learn the counter to the counter to the techniques or how to even pull them off in the right way. And then you go down for a little bit. So you might catch people by surprise and do a little bit better in the beginning. Then you learn all the techniques and you go back down. Then you learn the counter to the counter to the counter, and then you come all the way back up. So like, you're basically, long story short, you got to be humble to be a fighter, and you got to go through a lot of shit. So a lot of these guys are super cool.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And like, even as a black belt, right? Like I still roll with, a second degree. It just means I've been active. It's my black belt, right? I remember when I first got my black belt, right? I was like, oh man, black belt now. Black belt now. And I rolled with a coral belt that my coach brought in. Yeah. And it was like, I reached and it was like,
yeah.
Are you serious? What the fuck? Like, I know what he was trying to do, but it is no matter. It's like Billy Jack shit. I'm going to take my foot, I'm going to put it right here, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. Oh, watch me. Well, nope, can't do a goddamn thing about it. Yeah. Like, because it's like, as I reached, they were already at the fourth movement before I pulled back. Right. So it was like, they knew I was going to pull back, so the momentum was already going. And again, like, I've been rolled up so many times in my career, to the point like where one of my coaches, Ben Jones, he would just do this. He'd be like, all right, and he would starfish on the ground. He'd be like, do something. What do you mean? Do something.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Yeah. Because I'm gonna grab this, and then you're gonna like do some really messed up stuff. Like you're gonna hurt me. Again, that's like in the back of my head. He's gonna hurt me. Like because I'm gonna try to do something savage.
Yeah.
And he's gonna react savagely. And it's not going to feel good. So like, it's that weird, like, and so now, but I find myself in that phase to where I'm now like, do something.
Yeah.
And they're like, whoa, what? Do it. Grab my leg, grab my foot, grab my arm, grab my neck, mount me, take my back. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
Well, coach, I'm giving you a chance. We're going to see where you're at. You know what I mean? And exactly. And a lot of it is like, I'll tell them like some of my fighters, I don't even attack some of them. I just like sit there and go, no. Okay, sweep. All right, get up. All right, go back, sit back down. All right, go. And then wait, stop. Why do you keep doing that? What do you mean? Okay, do it. I'll put him back in the position. And then they're like, well, what did I do? Just keep wrestling. And oh, yes, that's what you're doing. You need to stop doing that. And that's. It's like counseling while you're fighting. Like if you can do that, you know that you're a true like student of the game at that point, or you've had enough lessons to where you can deliver that knowledge to somebody else.
And that's like for like this is like the common fan. Like nobody just jumps out into the fight game and is just spectacular. Everybody has to go through, you know, the ups and the downs, and like you said, the points where somebody's just like, yeah, here, do whatever you want to me, and then you get fucked up still. You know what I mean? Like there's so much like just levels to fighting that everybody kind of has to go through it. So that's why everybody's pretty damn cool. If you meet them on the street, you're like, hey, what's up? They're like, oh, hey, what's up, brother? How you doing? Or you get in the gym and, you know, you get you get to wrestle, or you get to spar with them or whatever. Bro, most of them are pretty damn controlled, almost 95%. They're cool as fuck. You know what I mean? They're going to give you pointers afterwards because they had to go through the whole thing. You know
See,
I mean?
and that's like at PGF, I run into a lot of that. Like you run into people like, you know, Hoist comes all the time.
Yeah.
Roger Gracie comes through. Carlos Machado, like all the, you know, Coach Robert Drysdale, like these people that are like legends of the sport, and you're like,
yep.
And then I'm the referee, and so like I remember this one time, Roger Gracie was like, "What are you talking about?" You know, and I was like, "That's the rule, dude." Holy shit, I can't believe I just said that to Roger Gracie. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and I was just like, no, sorry, dude. Walk away. Like, like your dad yelled at you. You got to run to your room kind of shit. You know, like, you're like, oh, man, I just told Roger Gracie he's wrong. But he's wrong because this is the rule set. Sorry, man. And then you see him later. You're like, dude, I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to. You know, no, it's okay, bro. You know, like, but it's, you do get that shock factor from some of these guys, but then when you talk to them after, the coolest fucking cats in the world.
Like, oh, you're just doing,
you're just doing what you're doing, bro. Don't worry about it. I'm like, okay, cool. I just don't want you to be pissed off at me or hurt me. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
more times out of 10, they just want more knowledge. They'll be like, okay, so how do we like avoid that? Next time, like, what do I need to be teaching these guys? You know, and everybody's always really humble about just trying to learn more because, you know, everybody's been in that situation where they got to go against the sensei and the guy that's running the class. They just know so much more than you, and you got to build up until, you know.
And that's the process. Like I said, like I remember when I got my black belt, Higa Machado told me, he's like, you know, the belt cover 2 inches of your ass. You got to cover the rest. And I was like, that stuck with me. That stuck with me after that. Like I was like, word, like, damn, yeah, like, yeah. No shit. Like, no shit. Why didn't I ever think about it? You know, I didn't think about it like that. I just thought, I got my black belt. Fucking, you know, I'm fucking badass now. No, like, I just remember it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but then it's like, whenever when you get your black belt, it's an awesome achievement. And anybody that gets a true black belt, they put so many years of work into it, like so many, like a decade, 7, 8 years, you know what I mean? To get a true black belt, you know, you really put that work in. But then, you know, once you get the black belt, there's somebody that's had that black belt for 2 or 3 years. And guess what? Almost getting a black belt is almost like winning a championship because now you get everybody's best shot. Before, you know, you up and comer, you know what I mean? You know, you're out there, you're grinding. But once you get a black belt, it's like, you know, you get everybody's best shot. Like when you look at like the, you know, the Bulls teams that played back in the NBA, you know, back in the day, you're like, they got everybody's best game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody said, oh, Chicago Bulls, circle. Yeah. You know what I mean? Let's try to fuck up Michael Jordan.
Yeah, Pippen, you know Jordan, Rodman, that freaking crew. I remember that, watching that, dude.
And people don't realize that. They got every team's best shot every single time. You know what I mean? And so, you know, same thing with the black belt. So then you go against a guy that's had a black belt for 3 or 4 years. You know, he's gone through everybody's best shot. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean because I've had that happen. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to go, oh, shit, this is a different level. Like so one of my friends, I think his last name's Shapiro. He's out here.
Oh, Jay Shap.
Jay Shap. He came into my gym, right? Because he was in the Anaheim area. And I was like, hey, we'll come through if you're around, you know? I was like, if anything, you know, maybe show some of my guys how to do your little man game because I don't play butterfly guard and all that kind of shit like that. So he came in and showed them and they were like, dude, coach, I was like, well, no, like you have to remember, I can show you this, but this is what he's known for. This is what he does. Like me, I'm a thrower, smasher, smash pass guy.
Yeah.
This is what he does. So you have to realize, and he's a 3rd degree. So you have to remember, he's had it for at least 3 more years longer than I have.
Right.
So he can bring you something in a different view than I can, because his style is completely different. I was always taught to be trained by everybody, to train with everybody, because, I might be a good thrower. Well, this guy's got a good pull to sweep.
Right.
This guy's got a good triangle to mount position. Okay, well, this guy has a good transfer from mount to turtle to defense and attacking from turtle. Like that's like,
right.
There's so many different, like I said, finding your style and your niche and creating your own, like, you have to be, I tell my students, you have to venture out to different places to do it. So like at my school, we have like three different schools. So I have the CSW school, which is the one that I run, which is catch wrestling and all that kind of stuff like that. Yeah. Shuto Japan. And then we have our 6 a.m. though is 10th Planet style. So it's a 10th Planet system.
Okay,
that's taught in the morning. Then in the afternoons, we have Checkmat, which is Lucas Lite out of La Habra. So we have a Checkmat group there. Then me, and then the other nights that I'm not there, we have a guy from Gracie Baja teach. So I've got 4 different avenues. There's 4 different type of styles of technique that are coming in. But not only that, it's that situation of like, you do train under those coaches. So you're a student of all right. 4 of those coaches under one school, meaning that, hey, I can't make practice say, coach, oh, can you go to Gracie Baja? Can you go to 10th Planet? Can you go to Checkmat? Can you go to CSW because you can't make it to mine? Well, you've got 5 different places you can go now to train, because you're being trained by, Coach Rich, Coach Luis, Coach Daniel, Coach Johnny, Coach PJ. You're getting trained by all these different people who are affiliated with different gyms.
Nice.
Who, if you're closer to that gym, go to that gym and just tell them, oh, I'm Coach Johnny's student, or I'm Coach Rich's student, or Coach Lou's student, Coach PJ's student, Coach Daniel's student.
That's cool.
Because now he can text our coach and be like, hey, I'm going to go to your school. Oh, yeah, let me tell my coach that you're going to go. So there's no sign-in fees. There's no questions. There's no anything. I've already been trained under this guy. I'm training under someone that trains here.
That's sick.
So it's like I've created a spider web because, again, I was always taught to train with everybody, not just one style. Right. I want them to be as diverse as they can as a fighter or as a competitor, because, we're going to Gracie. We're fighting a Gracie Baja guy. They do this. Well, they do that. Didn't you learn that at the class that you did the other day? Right. So you know what the step is. So if you can intercept the step, that's how you're going to beat him.
Right.
You're fighting a 10th Planet guy. You know that, I'm going to go from truck position to this. Okay, so if you know the truck is there and you know the truck is coming, get ready to defend the truck by doing this, this, and this.
Right.
So it's like, it's giving them, an almanac of pages to flip through that they have to be the ones that are willing to read it. You know what I mean? So I'm giving you 5 paths to take. Choose one.
Right.
Choose one. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
Or choose all of them. Maybe you go to all of those schools every other day. Maybe you go to this one on Monday, this one on Tuesday, that one Wednesday, that one Thursday, and you come at 6 a.m. on Friday. Maybe you do that. But it's something that I told myself that when I did start my own program, my own thing at Warriors Garden Jiu-Jitsu, that I would do that and create a network of coaches, not just coaches that teach my style, because it's kind of conceited. I was never taught that way. I was taught by Eric Paulson. I don't know if you know who Don Santo is. Don Santo is Bruce Lee's first black belt. Okay. Don Santo actually taught Bruce Lee how to use the nunchucks.
Damn.
So like it's Jeet Kune Do, like Jeet Kune Do stuff. Yeah. So like my stand-up in Jeet Kune Do goes from Bruce Lee, Don Santo, Eric Paulson, me. So my stand-up actually derives directly from Bruce Lee.
Nice.
So like Shuto goes all the way back to Carl Gotch, like the catch wrestling founder of it, all the way down through Tiger Mask, right? Have you ever heard of Tiger Mask? King and Tekken, right?
Yeah,
he is modeled after Sayama, who's the original Tiger Mask. Tiger Mask is the original Shuto catch wrestler who my coach learned under when he was in Japan, and then brought catch wrestling back. So we're actually Tiger Mask lineage. So that's why I have a Tiger Mask on my arm. So it's Tiger Mask lineage. So I'm big about buying into true roots, because I tell my students, I was like, wherever you're training, you need to know what the roots are. Where does it come from?
Right.
Who are you honoring? Whose teaching are you honoring through this lineage that you're now becoming a part of, right? Because you still have to give honor to the lineage. If you act like a jackass, that makes these people look like idiots because you're representing their style. And so I tell them that, like, take pride in who you come from. Take pride in whatever your lineage is. And if you have 5 lineages that are direct to the original founders, who can say shit?
Yeah, nobody can really say
shit. No one can say shit because I'm learning all these different styles all at once. So it's making me, like your acid wash tie-dye shirts. I'm completely spreading my colors out to create something that not just the normal vanilla or chocolate would create. Like I'm Neapolitan like a motherfucker. I'm 3-4 different flavors, not just 1 or 2.
Right.
And that's what you want as a fighter, because I'm very philosophical with how I explain that to him, because like I said, you have your own individual tree of technique, right? And as it grows, you're going to branch out to different styles and people, and the leaves are different techniques that are just being added to those branches. But where's your root?
Right.
Where did you start? You have, no matter where you're at, realize that this is where you started, and without that start, you wouldn't be able to do all this other shit.
No, that's true.
And that was just, again, that's the old way, right? Loyalty is royalty. Bushido, staying true to your master, staying true to your style, but also learning how to blend your style, not just keep it. This is what I do.
Yeah, no, keep it. And Bruce Lee was big into that.
Yeah.
He was always training all different styles, and at the time, that's what made him unique. Because most people that were martial artists would just train one. They'd just be, hey, listen, I'm into kung fu. This is it. You know what I mean? And then but Bruce Lee was the first person to really kind of break that barrier and be like, I'm gonna train some jiu-jitsu. Hey, there's some boxing that looks like it might. I'm going to take from this, I'm going to take from that, I'm going to take from this, I'm going to put it together. So, I mean, Bruce Lee was very big in that. You know what I mean?
And again, I love combat, bro.
Right.
I love it. That's why I referee, because I got a couple more fights in me, because I haven't bowed my belt out yet. So I've still got 1 or 2 matches where I have to truly bow out my black belt and call it a day. So I haven't done that yet. So I still have 1 or 2, but I'm so busy with so many other things. Like, the time will come. I'll know when it's right. You know what I mean? I'm not going to force that. But, and I tell everybody, I was like, there's still 1 or 2 left in me. I just have to find the right time, balancing, surgery, being a husband, being a dad. I coach a travel soccer team, travel baseball team. I coach a jujitsu. Like, I wear a lot of hats because, my son is now in junior high. So now he's at this point where that window closed, right? But my daughter still has 2 more years, which is like 3 more seasons to work with her, and that window will be closed. Then that's 2 days out of the week I don't have to do something else.
So now you can kind of prep.
Then I can prep or something like that. But right now I'm about being there for the kids right now, because they're at a time that I need to be there. You know what I mean? They're in an age group where I really need to be present.
That's what happened to me. I fought for a long time. I was a pro, all of that stuff. But my kids got to the point where I was like, damn. The money wasn't there when I was fighting, and I would fight. I'd get like a check, $2,000-$3,000. I wouldn't fight again for 6 months.
Yeah,
and then like if you really want to be at the high level, it really is 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours at night. Your rest days are your rest days. You know what I mean? And so, I had to stop fighting to raise my kids and stuff, and it was rewarding. Don't get me wrong, but man, them motherfuckers are old now. So
see, and mine are slowly going into that phase to where I'll be able to do that, and when that time comes, that time will come. But I'm just enjoying being present right now.
No, of course, it's the best time.
No, it's a beautiful time. So and again, with my life, I got a roof over my head, clothes to wear, water to drink, food to eat, a woman that loves me, and my kids love me. I don't need anything else. I already won. I already won in life. I don't need shit else. Now I could just get to wear really cool shit on top of it. You know what I mean? Vintage Rush shit. So like that's, again,
you're doing what you love. I mean, obviously it's sick. I mean, you're basically, on the ground floor of this new league, and I mean, you get to referee it. I mean, it got to be an amazing time. I mean, it sounds like a very watchable league. Also, I do like the way that you guys got teams. Everybody goes against each other. I think that's the one thing that the UFC model is missing. I think with the UFC model, they're doing great. Don't get me wrong. But what really made the old UFC maybe the best was that there really wasn't fucking, like, you didn't pick your fights. There wasn't an option not to fight. Like, Tim Silva was not like, well, I don't really feel like fighting Randy Couture.
Yeah. I mean? He's just like, he's next. You got to fight him.
It was like, yo, you motherfucker is next. And that was also because the money wasn't really there. And it was literally like, hey, listen, like, the only way you can even make a living is if you fight Randy Couture. So you're almost forced to. But I always look at it like this, and I think UFC kind of needs to take that step. I don't know. It's a very complicated step, but because it's not as easy. But at some point, you got to be like, listen, like, bro, the fucking Atlanta Hawks don't get to say I'm not going to play the Chicago Bulls because it's not the right timing. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, at some point, they got to turn into a real league and be like, look, you're either out of the fucking league, motherfucker, or you know, there is no contract negotiation. You know, you don't get to pick as champion, you don't get to pick your fight. You know, at some point, it's like, listen, this is the number one contender. You're either going to fight him in the next 2 months, or you're going to vacate the belt and you're kicked out of the league. Yep. You know, what are you going to do? Because a lot of times, that's why you see these guys, you know, sometimes they only fight like twice a year. You know, John Jones was getting to the point that motherfucker fought one time a year. You know what I mean? And it's like, if you're on the roster and you're healthy, you gotta at least fight three times a year. At least. I mean, you're telling me you can't get a training camp together one every 4 months. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of crazy. I mean, I almost would say 4 times a year, but, you know, 100%. It is what it is. But I'm just saying, like, I think Chamaya, when's the last time we watched Husband fight?
Shit. I don't know.
He fought. I do remember him fighting. He fought the one dude. It was like 6 months ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was
like 6 months ago. He fought the dude from South Africa, and beat him, the champ. But I'm just saying, and then now he's gonna fight Strickland. But man, bro, it's been 10 months.
10 months. I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? By the time he fights Strickland, it's been 10 months. It's like, you know.
Yeah, and then what I always trip about is like they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm getting ready. Oh, I hurt myself in camp. You had 10 months to chill, and all of a sudden you hurt yourself. Like, come on, guys. I just think there needs to be like a UFC doctor that really like, and then they got it at the PI, they got it at the Institute. There's a full body scan, and you know, decides whether a guy can fight or not fight. You know what I mean? Maybe they got to go through some crazy, you know, type of, you know, deal to come up with a test for that. But at the end of the day, I think you should be tested. And yeah, if you have a legitimate injury, of course you can't fight. But at the end of the day, man, Michael Jordan went out on that bitch with fucking food poisoning, dropped 45. You know, sometimes you gotta be forced into those moments. Yep. Where, you know, the back's against the wall, you're a little banged up, but ultimately you are healthy enough to fight, and you gotta go out there and fight. You know, and so I think that's just the one little thing that the UFC is missing, is just like more of a structure to where, like, yeah, they got the champions fighting every 4 months, you know? Yep. Fucking that would be nice. Yeah, that would be nice to see that.
But then it's like money, pay-per-view points, and all this and that, and you know, so they got to come up with some type of pay structure that obviously is better cohesive for the fighters, and I think if they do come up with the right pay structure, it'd be better for the smaller fighters that are just getting into the league. To where you don't have to work a second job. You're not worried about it. But at the same time, you know, when you finally do hit that top level, you know, you're getting paid X amount of dollars for every championship fight that you take, no matter how popular or unpopular you are. I like that. Right? Because, you know, there's boring ass NBA players that make $30 million a year because based off their statistics, they are worth that, and their agents negotiate that. Facts. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
So there's something. I think that's like the last step, but yeah, because sometimes I feel like it's getting too much like boxing, where it's like
I can see that. I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
I'm not ready to fight.
Yeah. You
know, it's like, my fighter, he's 2 or 3 years away. I'm like, motherfucker, you're in the UFC. Fight. And so your league like is like everybody fights each other.
Everybody fights each other. Like and the only reason you don't fight is if you're injured from the week before. Now and that's why they have alternates. So that alternate takes your place.
Okay.
And then he gets in. But again, you could be the point leader, get hurt, and then 2 weeks out, someone else could take that lead. You know, because you're not getting the points. The teams are still getting the points for the accumulated points.
But there's pressure for you to get back in, to 100%. Get to the top, to get in the top 10. And see, that's the one thing that's like nice about like the early starts of the leagues, is that once some people start getting a little bit of money, they're like, oh, like I have to fight to get this money to keep my gym going, and so they're more likely just to take it instead of like negotiate. Like,
so speaking about money, we have a thing called money bag.
Okay,
a money bag's $500. So if you are wrestling and you hit this like beautiful like hip toss over the top land, you'll hear cha-ching, and they'll throw out a $500 bonus for you.
Oh, damn.
So it incentivizes big moves, big submissions, or some guy was like arm drag, took the back, standing arm trial to a choke. Like, Cha-ching! That was and then me as a ref, I'm like, oh, like I'm trying to be professional, but I'm like, oh shit. Yeah. I have to keep a straight face. Yeah. But inside, I'm like, oh, that motherfucker got fucked up, dog. Like, how? He like took his arm, took his back, fucking hooked him up, thought of fuck. But I can't, but I have to be like,
that was like that was the one that we were talking about the thing before. We were talking about before, and I was like asking him if he had any commentators. But one time I went to this boxing chest influencer league fight, whatever, right? Where they would box one round, then they would do chest. And the one thing that I took away from it, because they're influencers, they're trying to be more entertaining, they're trying to be more engaged for the chat and blah blah blah. It's not a real fucking sporting event. But the one thing they did was that over the loudspeaker in the whole arena, usually you play the music, the intro song, obviously everybody can hear it, but they had the commentators on there. So you get hit with a jab, or you get hit with a solid right, they were like, damn! Yeah. And you could hear damn through the whole fucking thing. And so I think I always thought, man, that's badass, because it's like really making people fight, because you hear boom, and you're like, let's say you're the one that gets hit by that jab, you're like, oh hell no, I gotta do something to make the crowd, they make this motherfucker be like, damn, he got him back, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, yeah.
So where we're at, it's for PGF, so it's closed to the public, completely closed to the public. It's got couches, chandeliers.
I saw that.
It's a beautiful thing. So like, while they're fighting, I mean, it's kind of like no one really talks while they're fighting. But like if the mat was here, right? The mat's like where the microphone is.
Yeah.
The announcer's table is here. So you can hear them. So like when they'll be like, oh, it looks like, if we're about to call, we're like stalling. Yeah. Oh, it looks like he's got to get out of that position and, do something. So
you can at least
you can actually hear them, not like over the loudspeaker, but if someone hits something, like a big move, they're like, oh, he just got the leg. Is he going to finish it? And like and then you'll see the other fighter like scrap out, and then he'll get out. Oh, he just got out of that one. So you do have those moments, but it's like, it's kind of, it's like if you've ever been in Japan and you watch a fight in Japan, like there could be 1,000 people in the stands, and you could hear a fucking pin drop until someone that's kind of how PGF is. It's like quiet, and you hear people banging each other around, and then someone hits a move, and then
that's cool.
Comes back down. So it's in a way like that, but not like they're not like on the microphone screaming it. Yeah. But they do have headsets on because they're talking live to the live stream on Kick and YouTube and stuff like that too. So it's because we're on YouTube and on Kick for the PGF.
And then it's live streams.
Yeah, it's live streams. It's live stream, dude. So it really is it's like tail to tape. They bring their things up, what school they come from, what weight they're at, what they're doing, there's what their win percentage is. It's awesome. A cool, again, it's like my childhood dream manifested, because I remember being a kid as like I was at
I bet.
I was in this, this sport of wrestling and jujitsu that no one really knew shit about. So like I was like, dude, could you imagine if they were in a fucking league like this where they had where they're paying athletes and you're getting money by fighting and, all this other kind of stuff. You have different teams, like Denver Broncos, but now Colorado Wolverines, like it's different. So it's like, it's now, it's now happening. And, God, the creator, just happened to put me as a main character in the middle of the shit.
Yeah.
And like anybody that watches PGF knows I'm the guy, like I will when they're running out of bounds with a submission, I will dive my body on the ground and be like, nope. Not getting away from that shit. Yeah. Hit me, bounce off of me, kick. I've had people kick off of me. I broke a tooth one time doing it, getting kicked in the face and slammed against the wall. But it was just, if you're in a submission where you're in danger, you're not going to get away by running away. I'm going to put my body there so you run into me and keep fighting. And then our second ref comes up because we have 2 refs on the mat.
All right, that's interesting.
So I'll actually go, nope, there's no way out, because if you're in a submission, there's no way out. There's no way out. It's hard. Anybody that knows jiu-jitsu, right? If you're in a heel hook and you're in a crazy ass position, how am I going to reset that in full lock because then it's like start game over. You know what I mean? It's different. So I actually will throw my body on the ground and shield my head.
Are they going out of bounds or?
Well, because there's couches. The couches are the border. Oh, okay. So there's people sitting on the couches. All the VIPs are on the couches. So course. I'll jump in front of the VIPs, put myself there, and stop them from running in.
Kind of act like the wall.
As a wall. Like a couple seasons ago, I actually went over a couch with Andy Valera and PJ Barch. Andy Valera hit this like sweet pass by, and PJ like ran to do like a wrestling, you know, arm thing. They ended up going out of bounds, and then PJ tried to go, or what happened was PJ was going over, and then Andy jumped to take his back. And mind you, like there's cement behind those couches. So as a ref, like I would rather you get hurt on the mat doing shit like that than falling over a couch and busting your head on the cement. So I grabbed them and like tackled them into the couch. Like it's all over the PJ, but it was like, and then people were like, dude, I was like, look, I just want to go over the edge. It looked fucking crazy. Like three grown ass men hopping over a couch into a second couch, like fighting over positions. And I'm like watching the position the whole time. Okay, stop. Okay, before we hit the boundary, you had a body lock before you jumped out of bounds, so we're going to start in a body lock. Yeah. And they're like, what the fuck? No, that's what happened. And then we ran out of bounds. So you hit the boundary. Whatever they hit that boundary with, whatever that lock position is, if it goes out of bounds and losing control, we reset you in the center in that exact position, whatever it is. And if I'm in a position where it's that, and then there's a stop. Okay, stop where you're at. Okay. Fight. You know, like that kind of thing. So it's like
you try to be as fair as possible.
You try to, and it's that's why we have two referees there, where we have four eyes on it, and it's like no, his hand was here. Put your hand there, and then and so if they argue with us, there's delay a game. You're delaying the game. Put your hand where both of us saw your hand. Stop telling us it wasn't there because we saw that. You went like this and then shifted it real quick. No, but when we stopped, it was here. It wasn't here. It was here. So leave it there. Like that's where
that's the
technical stuff. Yeah. And like sometimes I'm relying on the other ref because sometimes they'll like there's a video on PGF right now where it was Sam, and Sam was throwing around this guy named Chewy, just throwing him and like double-legged him, shoved him out of bounds, and I'm like catching him, like landing on the couch right next to Eddie Bravo. Hey man, you all right? Yeah, I'm good, dude. Thanks for catching him. Yeah, all right, cool. If I can throw him back. All right, let's go again. And like I know who the aggressors are. So like as a wrestler, I know from the tie-up who the aggressor is. So I'll face the aggressor because I know if they shoot, it's going to be a shot that starts in the middle and it's going to end at boundary.
I see.
You know what I mean? So like, again, I've done it so much now with combat to where I've seen so many different transitions in that aspect of the fray that I know that if he does that, he's going to do this, this, and this. Because at this level, there's going to be at least 2 counters, maybe 3, or they get caught on the 3rd. So I know I already have to position my body for the second counter. Right. So I know if you start there, like there's times people will laugh because I'm like seeing it, I'm like, and they land right in front of me. I'm like, fucking knew it was going to happen. Because I have watched those movements so many times at full speed, I know where the momentum is going to carry them.
Right.
And so I position myself for that so that, you know, and that's the difference between learning the game and knowing the game. You know what I mean?
True.
It's next level, bro. And you know, I can't wait to have you there. That's going to be freaking awesome.
No, I can't wait to go. I want to, it sounds very intriguing. I like the stalling rules. I like pretty much everything about it.
Dude, it's legit.
Yeah.
It's next level, bro. It's the next level of jiu-jitsu.
That's sick. For me, as like a guy that does a lot of ground and pound, only thing that's missing is just punches on the grounds. Because honestly, I think you're going to get more submissions. Because that doesn't mean that, you know, people think, oh, you can punch on the ground, like that's gonna like somehow benefit the striker. Nah, man. Sometimes you throw a punch wrong time, man. Motherfucking armbar you quick. You know what I mean? You might not even want to punch. You know what I mean? So get that at that level, but. You never know. You can get them in a position where you pound them out and then they have to move.
Yep.
But I mean, I'm excited to see it. I want to see it. I saw the layout already with all the couches and everything, and I was like, oh, this looks fucking sick. No, it's legit. Yeah, this looks fucking sick. So I'm excited to see it. And it's crazy that we got into this level of the game to where there is a jiu-jitsu league. You know what I mean? There's the taekwondo. What is it, the one where they fight in the pit?
Oh, what is that? Karate combat.
Yeah. I was always wondering what's the difference between that and kickboxing. I guess there's a little bit of ground and pound, or is it just the arena?
So I follow karate combat. I know that they have the arena, and then they have those like angles on the edge that you can guard it or run up it and kick off it or whatever. But it's more so like there's no jiu-jitsu involved. It's just straight karate or kickboxing versus taekwondo or whatever you want to do back and forth. And if they hit, you've got, I think it's like 5 or 6 seconds to try to like really pound them out.
Them.
Yeah, to finish them. And you finish them in that time, they stop it, or if it's like a true like whoa, they'll stop the whole match. You know
yeah,
I mean? Like,
yeah.
There's been a couple that I was like spinning heel kick to the side of the head and boom, and you're like, oh, that's a bad fucking day. You know what I mean? Because anyone that's done stand up knows, that click when you get clicked, it's
it can, those heel kicks, everything. They come out of nowhere, man. And a lot of times you don't have very much experience defending them because you just don't see them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
And then you don't see them in sparring and whatnot. But so, that shit can catch you by surprise for sure.
No, definitely, man.
Definitely. How are we doing on time? I know you got to get to your thing.
It's like 12:15. I got to be there at like 1:15, 1:30. So I got like an hour.
Okay. But yeah. Well, real quick, let's wrap it up. But let's go into the anime. Right. What are your top? Well, yeah. Let's go with your top three. Top three animes. Start there.
Top three animes. Gosh, damn, that's really Cowboy Bebop.
Okay,
that's something that I
literally say that too.
I just grew up with that.
I say that all the time.
I grew up with that, so Assassins and all that kind. It just was to me like going around the.
I just think that if you tell somebody like, oh, you need to, what is anime? What really is anime? Because, I mean, Pokemon. Not really anime, you know what I mean? It is, I guess, from where it comes from. But when you say, what really is anime, I'd be like, bro, Cowboy Bebop, because there's some comedy, there's some deep plot lines, there's some action, there's intriguing characters, there's music. The music of Cowboy Bebop, just, people always say, oh, the jazz, blah, blah, blah. No, that was the first time in episode 5 that I heard some really good classical music, and I was like, oh, what's classical?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they got the heavy rock episode. So, yeah, they got the jazz, the rock, the classical. I mean, they got fucking everything in that. Guns,
100%.
Karate,
everything.
Yeah, mechas, that is anime. If you say, okay, you need to watch anime and just kind of see if you might like different genres. Yeah. I think like that's that.
That's it. Gundam.
Okay.
Number 2, definitely Gundam. I grew up on Gundam, so that's like different ones and all that. Like
just a franchise.
Yeah, just a franchise. Gundam is something that I watched all the time, and then of course Dragon Ball, but Dragon Ball is number 3 for me.
Damn, that's crazy.
So it'd be like Cowboy Bebop, Gundam, and then Dragon Ball.
Wow.
Because I love Dragon Ball.
What's your favorite Gundam?
Fuck.
I have a kind of weird one.
So like the one that you did the other day, you were talking about the Psycho Gundam, right?
Like
Zeta. Like Psycho Gun and stuff like that. Probably that one to me was something that just called to me.
Yeah.
That one calls to me. I don't know why.
It was deep and dark.
Yeah, that one calls to me. I liked all the other ones, but when I saw that, I was like,
okay.
I connect with this guy.
All right.
So like that is my Gundam.
That's one of the more deeper and darker ones. I thought when I did that shirt, I was like, man, if motherfuckers get it, they get it. If they don't get it, they don't get it. But like low key, this is like one of the top Gundams that nobody talks about because it's so deep. You know what I mean? And it's so like kind of like messed up. And it got 2 seasons. I think it has 56 episodes. Yep. And there's actually another one that was an offshoot of it where Camille's still in it, but it's like the second version of that, but it never took off. But I mean for me actually I always loved OA MS Team.
Yep.
Yeah, that was always one of my favorite ones. I think I caught it on Toonami. I think I just liked the aesthetic of it.
Yeah.
Where I think everybody else was Gundam Wing.
Gundam Wing,
100%. That's usually like everybody's favorite. Yeah, mine was OA MS Team. And then, Gundam Wing was great though. I mean, I love the characters, Hero and
Hero's Hero's legit.
Yeah, I love how he just like rips up her fucking. She's like, yo, nigga, I don't give a fuck about that.
I don't give a fuck about you.
Yeah, I'm over here I'm a fucking terrorist. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
100%.
Yeah, I'm trying to reshape the world. I don't give a fuck about your stupid ass party.
Dude, and what I loved about it was like, I hadn't really found anybody that was really like into Gundam, right? And then my wife, her brother, dude, like Gundam head. And I remember when I met him, we were like, like, and my wife's like, I thought we were hanging out. Well, dude, he's like me and him are, we're like, you don't understand. And then like later that day, she's like, dude, my brother didn't talk to anybody. I was like, because no one's cool enough to know what the fuck he loves. You don't understand. Like the hours I've put in and the life I have put into sitting there watching, rewinding, watching it over and over again. Like, you don't even know. Like, and that was the, my third, like when you go to 3, like Trigun was another one I grew up with. Okay. Dude. So Trigun, I dug that shit, dude. Trigun to me was like Trigun. One of the few that I remember really watching and be like, dude. And it was my older cousin that got me into it. And I was like, dude, what the hell are we watching?
The first like 2 episodes were really good. They as far as like getting you into the door. Yeah. You're like, you meet Vash and he's doing all this cool ass shit, and you're like, damn. And then it obviously heats up as it gets towards like the later end. But yeah, Vash the Stampede. I mean, Trigun. I just love the aesthetic of Vash.
Yes.
And I need to do a shirt. I've been wanting to do a Toonami Great shirt where it's like one side's Vash, the other one's all Star. And so it's like you get that parallel. Like right now I'm working on a Predator Alien shirt where it's going to be Predator and it's going to be aliens on the back. It'll be this drop this week.
Dude, that'll be gangsters.
But I kind of like to fuse those two because they're kind of together. And like I think with Toonami, just doing it like that, I think where you put a Kenshin and on the back you put Yu Yu Hakusho, I think it'll just be some really good synergy and kind of remind people of all the different genres of Toonami.
Dude, 100%.
But yeah, no, that's a good top 3. I definitely have two. I almost like I always say this though about certain franchises. I'm just like Dragon Ball Z is just so far up there in my opinion that it's like you don't even have to put that in the top 3. It's just kind of like.
It's like a given.
Yeah,
it's a given.
Like, all right, let's talk about the other ones. You know what I mean? But yeah, so of course I got Dragon Ball Z. Cowboy Bebop is actually in my top 3. And man, the third one, I really I don't know. I couldn't really. I'm sure I could throw something out there, but I mean, I always gonna love Street Fighter the animated movie 1994.
Yeah, dude, that's an old school.
That's always gonna be like, damn, bro, like that. Fuck, I probably watched that motherfucker like 30 times. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like I'll still go back and watch.
Oh, 100%. Like that's like when you're you don't have anything to do and you're folding your clothes.
That was like the aesthetic of Street Fighter, and I'm huge. I love Street Fighter.
Yeah, I love Street Fighter.
So yeah, that was like the aesthetic of Street Fighter. That was the characters. You know what I mean? Oh. That was like, that's peak drawn Ryu. That's peak drawn Chun-Li. That's peak M. Bison. That's peak Guile. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you can draw any other way you motherfucking want, but that's peak.
Peak, 100%.
You know what I mean? And so, yeah. Definitely. So yeah, I'll throw that in my top 3.
Yeah. I remember going to playing Street Fighter in the arcade, and we found out how to do the loop with Guile in the corner and shut the machine down. Yeah. And so like we'd always have like, because we played so much. Yeah. And back then you had Nintendo Magazine, right?
No, hold on. Describe the loop.
The loop is like when you have to get on a certain stage. Yeah. And you have to get Ken into the corner. Yeah. And then suplex, dizzy, suplex. Yeah. And then it eventually it just keeps playing over and over and over and over again. So what happens is they have to unplug the machine and reset it. And so we'd get those high school kids, because we were kids. Come on, kids, fucking take it forever, man. Can you fucking hurry? Oh, all right, dick. All right, hey, let's go on the next level. I was like, let's shut it down. And me and my friend Jay we'd get in the corner and I'd let him just like do it. My friend, I would mess it up sometimes. Yeah. But my friend Jay could hit it every time. And he'd go, okay, here. He'd knock me in the corner. And they'd be like, oh, you're getting your ass kicked, man. You're getting your ass kicked. Boom. Doom. And so it was like Guile suplexing Ken over and over the top, like just from the top of the screen down, top of the screen down, top of the screen down. And
see, the one thing that people will never understand is, bro, how the fuck did anybody figure that out? Yeah.
Someone showed him at an arcade and how to do it, and then he was like, dude, I got to show you this shit. And I was like, all right, cool. And then he showed me, and I was like, because when I was at 10, 7 to 10 years old, the arcade by my house, there was arcades. Right. Like you went to the arcades. You didn't. There was like Nintendo was barely out. The Sega Genesis was like, fucking Kid Chameleon and fucking Sonic. You know what I mean? Like that was like the first 2 games I had for Sega. So like you played like SNK and all that shit over somewhere else, you know? And then that was where I got into that, and my friend would go more than I did because I was playing sports and he didn't. So he would just walk down the street and play because we had an arcade right next to the video store. So it was like we would just we'd all, and that was where you hung out.
I remember that, man.
That's where you hung out.
I always say the one thing that I'm always sad about is like I did get to live in the 90s, but I got to live in like 98 and 99. Mm-hmm. Like I was probably like 11 and 12 in 98 and 99, but I didn't get the full decade like other people that are older than me. You know what I mean? Like they got the full decade, you know, and especially living out in California. I'm from Michigan.
Yeah.
So there's a big difference between California and Michigan. I mean, you know, you had to. I didn't see an Asian person until I was like 20 years old. You know what I mean?
That's fucking funny. Dude, we had this spot by my house called Nickel.
Yeah.
So like games that weren't like the peak games. The peak games were 25 cents. But then like the games that were like the SNKs were like a dime. And then the ones that were like Atari and stuff like that, there was a nickel. So you could play games on a fucking nickel, like 5 games on a quarter. Like this was like, again, this is like late 90s, like 95 to 2000.
Okay.
Like this is like when I was playing, like that was kind of like the end of that, towards the end, because 2000 I was about to graduate high school. But I remember it specifically, like, you know, we didn't have like major consoles and shit like they have now. And like I'm like, do you imagine, like, I remember when Halo came out. I was like, could you imagine if we had this shit when we were a kid?
Right.
Like in 1988, running around trying to learn how to play fucking, you know, like games and stuff like that. Like, no, it was so like the technology these kids have nowadays. I'm like, dude, this game's boring. Boring? You even knew what I used to play? I had 2D Mario pixelated shit. Like
sometimes, like, I don't know. Sometimes it's like you get too far advanced technology, and then it takes a little bit of the fun out of it. Yeah. Because, you know, like back in the 90s, like you said, you used to go to the arcade, you used to meet all these people. You know, girls would be there. Other people, you know, you'd have to go interact. You might get to know somebody you never even get to know. Mm-hmm. You know, and even it might even be like the great equalizer to where you got a guy that's like a sophomore in high school. You might be in 7th grade, but you're homies because, you know, you play the game together. Yeah, and he's local. You know what I mean?
100%.
And so it's like it's different. You know, sometimes you lose that magic. You know what I mean? Of just going.
Dude, I remember the guy that taught us how to play Mortal Kombat, and this guy's name was Rocco. I just knew him as Rocco. Oh, what's up, Rocco? You guys are here again?
Yeah.
What are we gonna do? Like, we're not doing shit. I'm just hanging out. You know? And we'd watch him play, and we'd watch him like tack, and just wreck people, dude. And then he'd play with us, and he'd be like, "Look, I'm gonna do this. So when I do this move, you need to do this move. Oh shit, okay.
Yeah.
All right, when I do this move, you need to do this move. And so we would learn. It was almost like learning jujitsu, but like on a video game. Like we were learning, you know, how to beat the computer and people, because he knew the algorithms of the game, that if they did this, you had to do this to stop that move, or you had to do this to do that move. So we would play high school kids at like 10 years old and be like, fucker, get out of here, bro. And then Marvel vs. Capcom came out. Oh, don't even get me started on that shit.
Oh, my God.
How much money I've spent on that game in the arcade?
I love that game.
Oh, my God. So, like,
Marvel vs. Capcom is a great game.
Oh, dude.
The first one, even Marvel vs. Capcom 2, of course. But the first one was really well done.
Yes, it was. And, you know, I always had, you know, Cyclops Ryu. That was just my...
That was your squad.
That was my squad. My friend did... he was Venom and Mega Man. So, like, dude, Mega Man, when Mega Man was in it, he went, like, absolutely out of control with him.
Man, okay, so lately I've been playing with Striker Ryu and Spider-Man.
Striker's that's an old school character.
Bro. If I want to be an
Hayabusa.
asshole, Spider-Man. And then, who I play with? Oh, Morgan. I'll play with, like, Morgan.
Morgan's crazy,
Morgan
dude.
And, you know, Captain America, if you want to just go in there and smash some motherfuckers around, Captain America, because his air combo takes too much life.
Way too much life.
Yeah, you're like bop, 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 pop, bop, 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 and it's like Half-Life. You know what I mean? It's like, you want to go in there and be a dickhead, low-key, Captain America, you can fuck a motherfucker up with Captain America.
I agree.
Yeah, but just because his hards hit, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of hards in his air combo.
No, and again, I love fucking video games, dude. And then arcade, like you said, bringing up the arcades. That was such an era. It was such an era.
It was just such a crazy era. I just remember, like, you know, I would just work on all the fighting games with my brother. He'd show me all the moves and stuff. He was like my Rocco. And then, you know, I'd go to the arcade. I mean, if I found anybody remotely on my level, it was like best friend. Nigga, no,
we got it.
You're staying here. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm gonna line my quarters up real quick.
Like, here's some money. You're good. Here's some bread. We're playing, because it was like, it was so hard to find, especially in Michigan. Maybe not in California. Like I said, you were living peak.
Oh, dude,
you were living peak '90s, man. I'm jealous, but yeah. Michigan, even if I lived through the peak eras of the '90s, just being in Michigan, I would have never remotely touched anything that you were doing over in California.
Dude, it was so much fun. It was I tell my kids about that. I was like, you guys don't know what it was like, dude. Like, and that's how I got into punk music, because all the teenagers would be listening to like Dead Kennedys, all this stuff, and you'd just be. I was like, oh, this is cool music. I'm just like, like while I'm like fucking, playing hardcore, and
where did all those bands go? Do they even exist anymore? I'm not talking about that band specifically, but that genre of music.
Yeah,
it's like dead.
It's dead. And I don't know where they're at. And I mean, other than me playing it in jiu-jitsu, like I play like punk music and stuff, because that's just that's the era I grew up in, like the 80s and 90s. Like that was the, that's why I wear Doc Martens damn near everywhere I go. It's just something I grew up around. I grew up around that culture, and vest and spike hair, and like. And when you went to the arcade, everyone was wearing the regalia, bro. It was like it's like wearing one of your shirts somewhere. Like everyone had their vest with the patch and the spikes and the colored hair, and the hair was spiked up and spray painted. Like everyone that was everyone in the high school era, they were at that arcade in that area, because El Dorado, Valencia and Esperanza was around that area. That's like the area I grew up in. All the people from that, all the cool people from that, they were at the arcade. That was because there was only one arcade. It was nickel, and that was where everybody went, because they had, I think they had like 60 arcade games. So like that's a lot. That's a lot of games.
That's a lot.
And then they ended up. I remember them buying 2 extra Street Fighters. So they had 3 Street Fighters, 1, 2, and 3, because it got so popular.
Right.
There would be lines, and there would be fucking fights. I remember being like 11 years old, watching a fight over who was next, because the guy went to use the restroom and they moved up in line. Like, sorry, dog. Like, you got out of line, homie. No one's holding for you.
Yeah.
Hey, fuck you, man. I was here for fucking 2 hours already. I've been waiting for this for 30 minutes. He's like, well, you got to get in the back and wait again, because I'm not. And it was like shoving matches over 50 cents.
No, I mean.
Dog. And that was, and I was just like.
No, man. No,
they're fighting. No, man.
There's battles over the sticks, man. I remember, actually, I lost my 2 front teeth when I was in first grade over Street Fighter.
Oh, shit.
These motherfuckers, my brother and my cousin down in Mexico, these motherfuckers were playing. I was like, yo, it's my turn.
My turn, yep.
Yeah, and so I kept like, finally, I just punched one of these motherfuckers in the face. Like, this is one of my turn. So they held my arms back, right? And I was like trying to like get away, right? And then he let me go, and I face planted and knocked out my 2 front teeth. So my whole first grade, I missed these 2 front teeth because of fucking Street Fighter.
Hey.
These motherfuckers wouldn't let me play.
And it's the game. I get it.
So I get it.
I get it. Yeah, you get it.
I get it. And you know what I mean? Like, so like, it's just funny that like, I don't know, man. That was so serious. The one game that I remember being like that was when, and like sometimes I always want these first edition machines. Like now I'm kind of like a little bit obsessed with getting the first not Mortal Kombat, but the first Killer Instinct. Because
Jago was my bro. Dude.
I hear the
Jago
sound
and Cinder
of the arcade for the first one was cranked up to the notch, and it's like combo breaker.
Combo breaker.
Yeah. So I kind of want that, but I remember
that's such a fucking
Marvel
movie.
Superheroes dropped, and whatever arcade in Michigan got one of the first generation machines. I just remember it being fucking huge, lines out the door, like everybody wanted to play that first Marvel versus Capcom, or not Marvel versus Capcom, Marvel Superheroes. Yes, and that was like the first game. Yeah, did X-Men Children of the Anthem drop? No, I think it came after that. I want to say Anthem came after that.
I think it did.
But Marvel Superheroes was just an amazing game, bro.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was like, man, that was like anime hitting Marvel for the first time, where you had the Japanese guys from over Capcom creating something for Marvel. And like that fusion, and even like the way that it's drawn.
Well, because it was for an eye like that had never seen that before. It's like whoa.
No,
that shit. Wait, that doesn't look like that.
No, that blue. I don't know. I'm not sure if Alpha was out yet, but that blew Street Fighter 2 out the fucking water. It was like, what the fuck?
Again.
Yeah, it was like, what the fuck? Marvel Superheroes, when that first dropped, I remember that was just like, whoa. Like, whoa. And then I'll never forget, like I always say, man, damn, bro. I couldn't believe my two favorite things when it was X-Men versus Street Fighter, the first one that came out. I was like, that's literally like my two favorite things in the entire world. Street Fighter and X-Men, and we had a game that was completely based off of that. I was like, damn, I was blown away. I was living good in the 90s, boy.
Oh, 100%.
I was living good in the 90s,
It was a damn good era, and people that missed that, you fucking missed out on real guerrilla video game playing. Like, you had to.
There was like an aura around, like somebody that was good. You had to get over their in-person aura, not like where you playing this guy online and whatever. No, there was like an in-person aura. Like, there's none that two motherfuckers next to each other. Even like Evo, you kind of get close to that.
Yup.
But you do get kind of close to it, where the Japanese, they had the screen in between the two,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that way you kind of lost that a little bit, but there's nothing like just sitting neck to neck with a motherfucker.
100%.
Hearing that motherfucker breathe, hearing that motherfucker tap the shit.
Yep.
That will always be like, so yeah, Evo kind of got it down.
They are next to each other. The shit talking that would happen. Oh, you ain't got shit, dog. No, fuck. What the fuck, man? No, all right, next.
Yeah.
Hey, fuck that. No, you're awesome. Get the fuck out, dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's like for instance, the aura. Like, Rocco was the guy. Like, if Rocco was there, everyone was like, fuck. Like, I'm going to play one game and then wait another 10 minutes to play another fucking game, But then if me and Jay were there, we'd go up and we would take turns. Like, he would be like, all right. And Rocco would be like, hey, what's up, dude? We'd be like, what's up, Rocco? And then he'd go here, and he'd line up like 4 quarters. So we'd play like 4 games with him, and then like everybody else would be like, "Hey, no, that's his. Those are his coins. Like he's playing. Like because you lined up what you did." And Rocco was kind of the guy that was there every day, at the same time, the same place, the same fucking thing.
Shout out Rocco.
Rocco. I don't know what he's doing now, or where he's at. I don't even know his last name.
I don't even know his name.
I don't even know I just know he's
Rocco. It might not even be
his
name.
Yeah, I just know he was Rocco. With a punk vest, torn jeans, Doc Martens, a chain on his leg, and green hair. That's how I remember Rocco. So I just remember that guy when he was there. We'd be like, we'd look and be like, green hair. Yeah, there's Rocco. We'd walk over to where Rocco is at. He was so good at it that we would just watch him sometimes. If we ran out of cash, we didn't have any. We were going to do walk home. We're going to go home and watch fucking whatever's MASH, whatever's on TV.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, no. So I'm going to sit here and watch this guy play video games instead. You know what I mean? And just be like, okay, shit. Oh, that guy did an arm. Oh, shit. He did a Hadouken. Okay. Oh, Hadouken did that and they jump. Okay, so Hadouken that, juggle, Hadouken that, juggle when he lands. Yeah. I would like, so then when I'd play, I'd be like, oh, fuck. We call them like Rocco combos. Like, no bullshit. Because we're kids. That's
crazy.
And that's like my memory. Like, God bless that guy. Because that guy made my childhood so fucking cool, because it was literally just like, again, we would look for the green hair and we would just go, and he would like decimate people, like perfect, like not even touch them, like, and no matter what they were doing, dizzy, bam, 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 boom, 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 like learning how to do combos before combos were even counted. You know what I mean? Like on digital.
And just go back to what you were saying about like watching them. I just remember when the first, I remember when Diago the Beast fucking hit that parry. Motherfuckers didn't even know that was possible. We didn't even know that was a thing, bro. When that was dot, we're like, yo, wait, you can parry a super combo? And it was like dot, jumps up, dot, comes down. like, medium kick, bop, bop. That shit was like.
See, what's crazy is the bop. I'm seeing what you're talking about. That's how I.
Yeah, and it was like that exists. Like, and so like your level goes up. All of a sudden, once you see it, everybody's like, okay, this is possible. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I think that's why that moment will never, because it was like it took the possibility to the next level. All of a sudden, not that everybody could do it, because Street Fighter Third Strike. Like I always tell people, like, look, you want to be the best in the world. The king of Street Fighter Third Strike is considered the best fighting video game player in the world. Mm-hmm. Still, to this day, if you were the king of Third Strike,
I would argue that
you are the best player in the world, fighting player in the world. Which I don't know why the fuck Capcom has not just, bro.
They need to do something.
All you got to do is add in M. Bison. Add in Blanka, add in Sagat.
Did Sagat
come with 4 new players in Street Fighter Third Strike? Tailor them, keep the same type of crazy balance and everything to it. The game, bro. Drop 10 characters in that bitch. That motherfucker will be the number one game in tomorrow.
The fuck. I would buy it. I would buy it tomorrow if it fucking came out. Sagat and M. Bison. It was like, if you could get their shit down, you couldn't stop them. They were so unstoppable as characters,
right?
That it was just like one of again, I keep bringing his name up, Rocco. Yeah. His motherfucker would missile motherfuckers to the point where he'd be like, okay, time it, boom, and just run them over. Yeah. And then when they'd be like, oh, block, whoop, trip, sweep, up, and again, you were like, this guy, dude. And then like you were saying with Killer Instinct, that was another one, like Combo Breaker. When I was like, they'd be like, tack, 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 cook, and you were like, that was like the biggest like bitch slap, like, because someone would be good and you'd be like, oh, okay, blah, blah, Combo Breaker, bitch, and then hit them back with whatever they were hitting it back. And I got really good with Jago and with Cinder. Those two were like those were my go-tos for Killer Instinct. My other friend did that Spinal, the one with the sword, the skeleton. He would do the skeleton, and the other one was Glacius or Glacier? Glacius? I think it was Glacius. Glacius. I think it was Glacius. And he would, me and my friend, we'd like, I can't remember how many controllers we broke. Like,
I think Cinder was my guy.
Cinder, fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, and me and my friend, because we didn't have, it was like a Super Nintendo at his place and a Sega Genesis at mine. Mine was Mortal Kombat and his was the Street Fighter and Killer Instinct, because that's what was on the Nintendo at that time, Super Nintendo. So like, we'd be like, hey, like, I don't want to go clean the backyard. Yeah. You want to play a game 2 out of 3? Yeah. You're going to go clean my backyard if I do that. Yeah, like shit like that. Best. And so like we would do that, and sometimes I'd win, sometimes he would win, sometimes he would win, sometimes I would win.
Me and my brother would play the best out of 10, and this is actually one of the best games in my opinion. I got 2 top games as far as I think like hardcore, like just how do I say, like expert level games. So that's SNK versus Capcom 2 and Street Fighter Third Strike. And we would play a best out of 10. And the first person to 10 wins.
Yeah, dude, this SNK mix, that one was
the second one. The second one was perfect. The first one was still a little janky. But it was good. But it wasn't like, but the second one was like Capcom perfect. And it had like 64 fucking characters, all the different gauges, it was
amazing. So like that type of video gaming was so amazing, because like I grew up when it was like Virtual Fighter 1 came out, like old school, like 3-dimensional block, basic shit like that, the first Tekken. Like playing that on the original PlayStation. Even that was
like mind blowing at the time.
Yeah, at the time, like even the original, like, and then I remember we used to call in high school, we'd call them tech turns, like tech tournaments, and we would just sit there at home and just power it out. And then one of my friends went to like a Nintendo con or something, and that was like when the fucking home stick came out, and I was like, where did you get that?
Yeah, damn.
And he's like, sorry, you got to use a controller. No, fuck you. Then we would we would play the game against each other to see who could get the fucking the stick at home. Like, you know what I mean? And like, again, It was back to where I was reading Nintendo Magazine at that time to learn how to beat him because I was, that was what it was. And I remember again when that Nickel shut down, I never saw Rocco again.
Damn.
Because maybe he went to a different arcade or something, but that was by my house. So that's where I went. So I didn't have a car. So I just walked up the street to go there. That was kind of how it was. You walk up the street and grab some In-N-Out, or I was thinking at that time it was Knollwoods before In-N-Out got there, Knollwoods Burger. And we would go get one of those and then we'd walk over, we'd get that and a drink and fries and walk over and be like, all right, let's wait for our turn. Yeah. Watch him fucking beat people's ass and hey, you guys want to play? Oh shit, fucking put this, drop my food where the fuck it was and play and then grab it and sit it and eat again afterwards. I
remember
that was a good life.
I finally beat my brother in the best of 10 series in SNK versus Capcom 2. It was like I was the older brother. It was like I was the head of the household now. You know what I mean? It was like
yeah, that was bragging rights.
It was like the day I was just like, I have surpassed you.
I have surpassed you. Yeah, that's good stuff.
And then I think we might go back and forth a little bit, but then I just took over the thing. Actually, you know what's funny is I was like one match away from going to the top 16 in California for the Street Fighter 4 GameStop tournament.
Oh, okay.
Which was like one of the first ever big tournaments in North America. And I won Michigan. I won a state championship in Michigan. And then I won the regional. And then I was in Chicago for the final to go to California in the top 16. And it was just a magic time when the game just dropped. They threw the national GameStop tournament together. And it was one of the first big, huge national tournaments. And so, yeah, man, I remember, bro, I used to fucking 8 hours a day.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. It was my job. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Getting down all the nasty tricks with Blanka, which Blanka, before any of the updates in Street Fighter 4, was just the nastiest character. Bro.
Oh, 100%.
He had so many just different switch ups, and he was powerful, he was durable, he had a couple unblockables where you could EX fireball without any repercussions. He had the EX over the top where you can control it, where you could stop short, trip, or you could go all the way over the top and hit him in the back. So you couldn't block it, or if you did anticipate that they were going to block it, you stop really short and then pop them, or you could stop short and fucking throw them. And he just had so many unpredictable moves that just nobody could really figure him out. That was my main, obviously. And then even his super move was all fucking jank and weird, where you could do it where you could hit the bottom so you couldn't block high, right? And then if they block low, you could pop that, and then you can go over the top. Then you popped them up, and if you stayed in that area, you could hit them with the whole thing, which was fucking, overpowered because Blanka's fucking a monster.
I agree.
And so it was before the first update, it was that magical, first, I almost need to buy the game sealed before they even update it. And so because the first update, they kind of took away all this stuff. But that first run was yo, Blanka was the shit. Yeah. But so I mean, I love fighting video games. That's actually all I play is Madden. I used to play, I used to sell weed, and I used to play Madden for $1,000 a game when I was a fucking teenager. So you know what I mean? I've literally walked out of a trap house up $12,000 in Madden, at 18 years old.
Dude,
I'm gonna go buy a car.
I remember when I was in college in my frat, right? Because I'm part of Theta Chi. I remember with our frat, we would go to the actual dorms and we would play for weed.
Yeah.
It'd be a gram on the table, the table, and we would do Madden, and I'd Madden, was it Madden 2004?
Yeah, with Michael Vick. Michael Vick.
I got so fucking good at that game.
Yeah.
Because I was all the athletes there, all the basketball players, and who else was there that would play a lot? It was basketball and the baseball guys. They would always be playing. Yeah. And so I'd be like, hey, because I was a wrestler, so I'd be like, all right, come on, let's go. Let's play down, dude. And I'd be like, let's throw a gram down.
Yeah.
Let's throw an eighth down. Let's throw a quarter down. The better you were, the more you threw down.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so when you say that, I'm like, dude, I remember walking out sometimes with almost an ounce in my backpack. I'm out. That's I'm good for the next couple weeks.
When I was young, I used to sell weed in that era where it was extremely illegal. When motherfuckers were doing 20 years over weed. You know what I mean? And so I was selling it, and I made a lot of money when I was super young. Like, by the time I was 15, I had my own apartment.
Oh, solid.
So, you know what I mean? That's how, like, and I was probably like a junior in high school. I was probably making $250,000 a year. Like, you know what I mean? And like, so I lived a weird, very, very weird life. But yeah, no, I mean, we would legitimately play for $1,000 a game. And then I would have my boy, Kevin Kramer, shout out Kevin Kramer. He would come over and I would have him as my ringer. And I'd be like, oh, you want to play my boy Kevin? You know, I'll play for 500. And I give Kevin the money before the game, and
he just wrecked someone.
Yeah, because Kevin was really good. Yeah, and so it was like, it was a crazy time. But that was like, a beautiful time. That was back before the online shit was super huge. Yeah, and you know, it is, I don't know, it's just a great time where, you know, you had to play the local guys. You had to play the local guy.
Yep.
I remember I used to be big into sports betting, and me and my buddy, once again, we go down the list of NFL games that we disagreed on, and we could finally bet on them because we disagreed on them. And then we came out to Vegas, and it was like, we get to pick whatever. You know, because like you could only pick the ones that you disagreed on. Yep. You know what I mean? And so like, that was crazy. That was a crazy time when you finally just went out to Vegas. I think I went out to Vegas in 2008. It was nuts. And but yeah, no, I mean, just I don't know. Everything's so like integrated now that's
a good way to put it.
It kind of like loses
a little bit of magic.
Magic, you know what I mean? Just go on the fucking app now. Do. Okay, cool. You know what I mean? And so
you had to earn that shit back in the day, dude.
Back then, you have your slip. You're like, oh man, I cannot lose this slip.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, or just
I know
like,
exactly what you mean, bro.
You almost wanted to stay there and watch the game at the casino around the atmosphere because you got to cash it in afterwards instead of just putting in the bet, going about your life. Oh, I think I'll just tune in for the fourth quarter today. You know what I mean? You kind of like had to be there.
Yeah, 100%.
You know? And sometimes it is lost in this generation. And
100% agree on that.
Yeah,
that's nothing I would ever disagree on.
Yeah,
Same
thing with like the arcade, man. You know, you had to show up to that. But there was art in showing up.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There was something that was to it there was a lot of boring points. There was probably a lot of bullshit ass points, but the highs were you could not replace them. You could not replace the highs. There's probably boring ass points where you're like, man, fuck, I'd rather be at home on my couch, fucking playing somebody online. But the highs, just being in person when that motherfucker was juking, you couldn't really replace that.
I agree. I 100% agree. Like we grew up in that I call it the guerrilla era. Where you were like, you had to go places and be at places and show up and wait your turn. Yeah. And then sometimes you'd be like, I'm going to fuck this fool up. And then you would just get decimated. And you'd be like, shit, I got to go sit for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll just watch this guy play for 15 minutes. And damn it. All right, my turn again. I just lost again.
Yeah.
Gosh. Like, you didn't always have good days on the arcades.
Yeah.
Sometimes, it's sticking, and you'd get mad and you'd blame the controller. No, motherfucker, you just didn't block. You know what I mean? It wasn't it wasn't the button that got stuck. You just read the move wrong. You know.
But when you won, it was like you won the fucking Super Bowl. Yeah, you won the fucking Super Bowl. You were like, oh my god.
They had a rule I remember they had a rule on the first Mortal Kombat, 10 wins.
Yeah.
So if you won 10 wins in a row, like you'd go up to the front. You'd be like, I remember the guy because they had like nachos and popcorn and like Cokes and stuff like that. Like if you won 10, anything on the menu, dude. Let me get those. Let me get that nachos. Let me get a hot dog and a Coke real quick.
No way.
And then you sat there like, and then they'd be like, oh man, you hooked up. Be like, fuck yeah, dog. I just won 10 in a row. Oh, well, hell yeah, kid. What are we? And be like,
damn.
And I remember that being like 11 years old, like, hell yeah, I fucked all these guys up today. You know, all these fucking teenagers.
Like today was 16, a good day. Yeah, today was a good day. You know what I mean?
Indeed. If I had nachos and a Coke, I had an amazing day.
Yeah, I had an amazing day today. Yeah. So yeah, awesome, man. Dude. Oh god, damn.
Yeah.
I miss those days. I didn't get to live a lot of those days because, like I said, you know, when I I was probably like 11, 12, maybe 13. So I got to live like, I would say like 97, 98, and 99. Where like, I was actually like a person, like moving around.
Moving around.
You know what I mean? Not like a little kid. But like, yeah, man, I just, damn.
No, it's a good day. It's a good life, man.
It was a good day. I remember Wendy's fucking, I remember they had the fucking taco super bar. They had the fucking,
I remember that.
Yeah, the
Shakey's was my spot,
They had the salad. And they had the Texas toast. They had the nachos at Wendy's. And it was all you can eat. Yeah.
That's gangster, dude.
Yeah, people were like,
that's old school, man.
Yeah, that's old school.
That's good stuff, dude.
Even like the X-Men fucking reading rewards.
I never heard of reunion rewards.
Yeah, you don't remember that? The X-Men at Pizza Hut?
Oh shit! Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Rewards. You read some fucking books. You got your shit stamped up. You get to go to Pizza Hut.
Oh, dude, smack it up. I remember that. Okay, now bringing that back, I remember that. Our place my spot was Shakey's.
Okay.
So Shakey's had they had a Street Fighter thing when I was younger.
What?
And Street Fighter was you got stickers. They were like stickers of like Ryu and Ken and like all this kind of shit like that. So I remember that specifically because Shakey's had, they had the buffet where you could get the salads and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then you ordered your Mojo potatoes, chicken, whatever like that. And then they had the arcade room. And then the more it was like I can't remember what it was like the more you played the game, it was like you got rewards in their prize box area, and one of the prizes were Street Fighter stickers. So again, that's why I love stickers. I had this thing as a kid where I would always collect them and put them on all my gear and stuff like that. I had football pads with like Street Fighter stickers on it and shit like that. That's dope. I had an M Bison right here and a Ryu on my right shoulder.
Yeah,
on my football.
That'd be gangster to have the M Bison one.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. And again, they were all like old school. Like they looked like trading cards, where it had like a border and it just had Bison standing there in like a fighting stance with his hands on fire and it said M Bison. Yeah, and I remember that. So I put that on the chest, like, no one's gonna fuck with me. And then Ryu, it was his stance that he has or whatever.
Yeah.
And I put that on my right shoulder pad. But that was like, I distinctly remember those, dude. That was a great time. It was a great time in life, bro.
Damn.
So
shout out to
I actually got to take
a
minute. So
you got it. So I mean, we're gonna wrap it up. I mean, that's it for us, man, at the Over 9,000 podcast. Where can they catch you?
They can catch me P Judges Jiu-Jitsu, _Jiu-Jitsu on Instagram. I also have Warriors Garden Jiu-Jitsu. That's my other group. And then check out the app.
Check out the app.
Submission Sensei. It's like having a mobile sensei with you. It's like taking Miyagi on a ride with you. And you have Miyagi in your back pocket.
There you go.
So,
all right, man. Definitely appreciate you stopping by, and until the next time.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, man.